um, I've been collecting for, well, pretty well my whole life, but I've been hanging on to some very special things, especially over the last 10 to 15 years, and decided kind of on a whim to liquidate a bunch of the things that I had. And you start thinking about how are you going to do that? How do you sell it? It would take me a lifetime to sell all that stuff individually. If you take the time to do on eBay or something, you'd have a bunch of shipping charges and stuff. So I decided that we do it all in one go today with a local auction house, Kastner Auctions, which has done auctions for me in the past. If you want to check out the sale, incidentally, it is at kauctions.ca, and you can log in and look for the Curiosity Antiques vintage collectible sale that's there. We do have artifacts that came out of a museum that date back to early history. We have pre-Columbian artifacts from South America and Mexico area. Primarily Mexico, with the Teotihuacan culture, jade carved mask and beads and necklaces and stuff. We have King George III sword, which is a naval officer's sword with a curved edge that would be from roughly the same time as the Napoleonic Wars. Pistols, Redline Hot Wheels, if you're into toys. There are a ton of die-cast cars. There's just kind of a really wide variety of all sorts of stuff at this sale. And honestly, I have some stuff on a shelf behind me in the background, you can see. But my whole office was covered in stuff like that. And now I've just got my guitars. This whole side used to be a shelf full of stuff. Now it's my guitars. Trying to encourage myself to play a little bit. Anyway, this is a nerve-wracking day and the sale's about to kick off right away here. So this might be a bit of a marathon for us together here today, as there are over 1,000 lots on this sale, and I might take a break in between, but I think for the most part, we'll probably leave this up for posterity and try and get as much of this captured live here today. These sort of format videos like this one I'm about to do is handy for people to see what stuff actually sells for. So if you have things that you've been collecting, or if you have items in your basement, or if you go to a yard sale or something, it gives you kind of an idea of what some stuff does sell for in real time, or what sold for here anyway. The auction starts today at 11 a.m., which is just in 2 minutes, Mountain Time, my time. And it'll run until everything's sold. So it's a timed auction sale, usually 1,000 lots. It'll probably take until about 3 or 4 p.m. today to get through everything, I would suspect, maybe a bit sooner. But, it ends just every number of seconds. An item goes up, tick, 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 it ends, it ends, it ends. And so kind of like eBay in that sense, where it's all timed and will all end at that point. I'm not meaning to be distracted. I am also checking to see if they've got the auction live yet. So in the background, I'm kind of scrolling. Okay, it does say live now. So we're gonna get into the auction right away here. I'm gonna flip the screen around. So this is kind of what you're looking at when you're logged into the auction site. You see the screen here. It's really easy to log in and get a username. A lot of people watching already have it. So we start off, the first lot today is going to be this Vintage World Globe, and current bid on that is $17.50. Now I will say the price is in Canadian. If you want to switch it over to, let's say, where's US funds? US dollars. That's $12 US. Big difference in price. What is it in British pounds? Nine pounds, just under 10 pounds for that. So Canadian currency, of course, is always a little bit lower, so that it looks like it's higher. But if you put it into your currency, you'll see the prices are actually very, very fair on a lot of these things here today. I'll try and answer questions. I apologize if I missed one. You can just ask it again, and I'll try and get on and answer it for you guys. There are, just adjusting the tripod here. And yes, I do own a tripod. Imagine that. So this should be kicking off any second here. And I'm just going to write a message. Good luck, everyone. Because they ship everywhere. Anita says, do they ship to the US? They ship everywhere in the world. And they do get discounted rates from the courier company or the shipping companies that they use. Unfortunately, where I'm at right now, I can't add the link in here real easy. Oh, it looks like things have started. $17.50 the bid. So you go to kauctions.ca, look for the curiosity sale, and it'll give you an opportunity to sign up there. The first little bit, we're going to be getting into some globes and vintage toys and Hot Wheels and stuff like that. And then we get into the actual real artifacts, the big stuff is. Will the auctions show how much time is left? Well, you can see it's timed right now. And so, yeah, it says there's only 13, 12, 11, 10 seconds left. So $22 for this cute little typewriter toy in the box. Original packaging on that. That's definitely worth more than 20 bucks. You know, probably at an antique mall, you'd probably pay 60, 70, $80 for that. There's a nice little 50s microscope set in the box. There's just a really wide variety of things here. And so I think as people start to log in, we'll start to see the bids jump up a little bit. And they should be all notified that the auction has started. And that's what I'm on here doing as well. So here's a 50s. This might have been a Hubley cap gun. It's actually very nice quality. I forgot to look for a maker's mark on it. The Hubley is a better quality, but nice little pirate pistol there for 20 bucks. Yeah, Gary says, that's true. I saw one of those typewriters in my antique mall. It was a lot more than 20. That's the thing. You could probably get yourself some really good deals on things here today. If you're a reseller or if you are just generally interested in buying some stuff to maybe hang on to, you might find yourself getting some good deals. And they will combine items into packages today. See this one, the Hubley's Flintlock Pass. Somebody must be collecting cap guns. They got this one bid up to 100 bucks right now. So let's see what things go for today. $100, and we're at last call there. Is there sound on this? You know, I guess. Normally it makes like a little do. Oh, it's not making sound because nobody's placed a bid above their opening bid yet. Oh, there we go. 110, went up 10 bucks. People are starting to wake up and check it out. Oh, Gary says that he saw that little typewriter selling for $65. Gary, are you in Canada or the US? Because 65 US is like 80 Canadian. Little store display gambling game. $12.50, now 15, now 17.50. Looking for 20 bucks on it. So yeah, Gary's in the US, so 65 bucks. That means that thing that sold for $20 would have sold for 15, so it sold for about $50 under value. Crazy, right? Anyway, good deals to be had. When we do an auction, this is a really nice set. This should be well over 100 bucks. I can't believe it's $25. It has the cars and everything. The cars are probably worth 50 bucks each. $25. Oh my gosh. Look at the artwork on the box even. Just a really cool set. 30 now, 35. Climbing a little bit. That's one of those things that, you know, me 10 years ago would have gone crazy to buy that to hang on to for myself again. But now 35, looking for 40. 35 the bid, 2 seconds remaining, now 40. It's going up a little bit. Oh, somebody in the Netherlands. Somebody in Holland. Goeiedag. Goed gaan met jou, Ronald. I don't know where everybody's on from today. Maybe you guys can post in the comments where you're looking at the live stream from today. They say, konnichiwa, ohayou gozaimasu, ni hao. Where's everybody from? Arizona. Well, howdy. All the best from Ireland, Oslo, Norway, Finland, Berlin, guten Tag, wie geht's? Illinois, UK, Sweden, Nova Scotia. Oh, Allison's bidding on a bunch of stuff. Hope you win some stuff, Allison. From the Netherlands, Long Island, Missouri. We got people from all over the place on here today. Las Vegas. Cute little van, this one that's being bid on right now. Exotic, Wisconsin. Hey, for me, that's not where I am. Wherever you are, it's exotic to somebody else. Somebody would go there on a tourist bus and look around and stop and eat your food and think it's exotic. So, Thousand Islands, Canada. I've had your salad dressing before. Hey, we got some people from Edmonton here too. And Edmundston, St. Albert. Got the little hippie Volkswagen bus there for 10 bucks, 124 scale. Off it goes. 1956 Ford truck, $10 on that one. Boy, lots of people from all over the place here. And buongiorno, I should say, or buenos dias, depending upon where you're from. Australia, Oklahoma. Gosh, people from all over. Here we go. Datsun 240Z. In Canada, we might say Z. Is that what you would say in Britain as well? Would you say Z or Z? I know there's controversy about how that letter is pronounced. Either way, that 240 is no Mickey Mantles in this sale. We have had Mickey Mantles in the past, but not that particular one. Not at this sale today, but we do have autographed hockey cards, autographed Wayne Gretzky cards, autographed Gordie Howe cards, all kinds of stuff. H. How else do people say H other than H? I haven't heard it said many other ways. Hi to Scandinavian people. Ahoy hoy, I think is that Polish? Jim Gerlinski says hello. Hey Jim. Lots of Nova Scotians on today. H. Oh, I guess. Weird, I never thought too much about people saying H different. You say the H as a huh. Best of luck like that Beanie Baby. Well, that would be nice. We had a sale we did where we found a bunch of Beanie Babies and one of them went for like crazy money. It was the Princess Diana Beanie Baby. And somebody really had to have it. Mind you, it was a bigger one. It was a bigger Princess Diana, and you don't really see a lot of those around, so. $10 for Batman card, there you go. Off to Australia it will go. $10 for the Batman tumbler. Should have dusted that one before it went out. Fresh off of the shelf. This is always, we're gonna go through a little bit of die cast. These are like the warm-up sort of items before you get into the real heavy hitters. And as we scroll down and look, $15 now. We start getting into some, right after we get through the action figures and stuff, it starts getting into the real artifacts, the soapstones, the high-end tin toys, the 2,000-year-old jade mask. There is some really special stuff coming up in the mix here. So definitely stay tuned for that. Where did my thing go? Oh, there it is. Die-cast cars, $10. That's less than what they sell for at Walmart even. I think, what are they, like $1.50, $2 at the store now? So that's probably less than retail even. Yeah, Melissa will eventually, so Dizzy Bird says, we haven't had a Melissa video in a while. I know she's been filming stuff. I assume she's gonna put something out at some point. I know she's been super busy. It's the end of the year for my wife. She's a preschool teacher, and so she does graduation ceremony for her preschool kids. And they don't have the official sort of caps. My wife actually makes all their little caps, and she has a gown and takes their pictures, but she makes these little hats, these little grad caps with little tassel on them. And so every year around this time, she is busy making little tiny hats and little tiny graduation certificates and getting everything ready and trying to make sure the kids have an excellent grad ceremony. Even though they're in preschool, she still tries to make it very special for them. Yesterday was the last day of school for her kids, and so she did a pizza party, and she had music and like laser beams, and I went in there and there was a whole bunch of little kids running around and having fun, and they had glow sticks and the lights were turned down. You know, the minute you turn lights off and give kids a flashlight or a glow stick, kids just go crazy. And so they were having a great time. So they ran around like nuts, and then we had fresh fruit and veggies and some pizza and juice boxes, and I went there and picked up her class ends at 11 a.m. And so I had to find a place that sold pizza before 11. And every restaurant in town pretty much opens at 11 a.m. for lunch. The only place in town, where do you guys think I found pizza at like 10 in the morning? I found pizza at Costco. And actually it was really, really good price. Sam says, hey Alex, I've noticed that you've been selling off things from your private collection lately. Is there any particular reason that you've chosen to do so now? I'll give you a couple reasons for that. One is, I was looking at my shelves and thinking this is a bit much. I mean, we have 1,200 items at the sale today, and that's a lot of stuff. I also have 3 children that are all, approaching university. Stephen is in university right now. Jason is going into university this year. And so frankly, I need the money for other stuff. I got kids going to college, and that's not cheap if you've ever sent a kid through college. We did save up over their life and put money into RESPs. Over the last, 18 years, we've been putting money aside for that. But there's extra stuff, what if they want to take extra classes or things? So this is just basically selling off all my stuff so that there's a little extra money for around the house for the kids and for their school and if we need anything else. So, yeah, just, general life reasons, and knowing that stuff is fun, but for me, it wasn't the most important thing. I got to focus on the kids right now, and, selling off some stuff off my shelves to help get my kids a good education is not a problem. But honestly, it was also to declutter a little bit too. I still have stuff. I still kept things. I still got stuff. I'm looking behind me right now. I still got some stuff. But it was funny. My kids were actually upset with me for selling my stuff. They said, "Dad, your office looks boring now." But I think I felt similar to how I did when I had my store, and I was just looking around me, going, "Gosh, if anything ever happened to me, it would be a nightmare for Melissa and the kids to try and figure out how to get rid of all this stuff." And so I felt kind of the same way with all this stuff. Is Yeah, it just felt like, oh boy, like what a big job this will be for Melissa if I don't start thinning stuff out a bit. So lots of reasons why a person decides to do it. There's no, I'm not facing any imminent health risks or anything like that. It was just more of a mental thing. Nitrous Diecast logged on. Our friend Dave, who used to appear on videos when we had the store every once in a while. Dave is a big Hot Wheels guy. Did you log in, Dave? Are you looking at stuff? He's a Hot Wheel collectors. Alexander's going to live forever. In a way, my stuff will be on YouTube for a while. There are some, Bluebird asked if the watches from the watch video are in here. I did put some bags of watches in here. Yes, there are some watches from that collection in here. I think the Seiko 5 and some of the other ones I didn't put in because I was going to get a new band and maybe get the new crystal put in them and stuff. So I might have those ones sitting around here somewhere still. I do have some other things I'll eventually have to get rid of, but honestly, this just will lighten the load a little bit and take the heat off a bit. Chromeo Productions, that is Todd the Eagle Man. You remember Todd? I don't know how many of you have been on the channel for a while, but Todd has a truck adorned with eagles everywhere, and he has an eagle mask he uses as a headdress, 2 eagle masks, and people come and take their pictures of the Eagle Man and the eagle truck. What's your favorite piece of jewelry in the auction? I would say if you count watches as jewelry, I would count that. I would say there's some watches in here that I really like. I would love to pin the URL, but I can't while I'm live streaming right now. But you can go to kauctions.ca and look for the Curiosity Antique. Look for the Curiosity Antique and Vintage Collectible sale, and that will pop up. $10 for a bunch of Hot Wheels. There we go. May as well. If you've got, if you're bidding on stuff anyway and you like Hot Wheels, you may as well add some of these in. Oddly, we're coming up very soon to a lot here, which was, when I say a lot, that's what any of these item numbers like 10046, 101047, those are individual lots. So a lot can have 8 items, it can have 1 item. Anyway, we're coming up to a lot, number 1047, this battle damaged Chucky doll, which I found in a storage locker actually. That had a lot of interest in it, and I'm surprised. Philadelphian on, one of the oldest states. I always send my sister Heather these goofy videos I see on Instagram and stuff. She likes the practical joke ones where it's the one I sent her this morning. I don't know if you ever saw it. It was a guy attached. They were golfing, and one of the golf buddies had like a fishing line attached to a fake snake, and he clothespinned it to his friend's back. He was taking a swing. So when he moved, the snake looked like it jumped out of the grass at him, and he went running and rolling down the hill. That's the type of stuff that Heather likes. She likes anything that has to do with people getting pranked. Yep. She put a gummy worm snake. When we went to Nashville to visit with Kathy Cash, I woke up and she'd put a gummy snake, it was like a gummy bear snake, but it was like the size of a full-on snake. She put it in my bed. I don't know, thinking that maybe I would freak out, but I was like, all right. All Melissa has to do is just appear out of nowhere and it freaks me out. And that's how Melissa also, I don't know what it is. I've got people all around me who like to jump out and scare me or prank me in my life. Melissa and Heather are the 2 worst offenders of that for sure. Chapter 3 says, because of your journey, I found I have 3 new sisters and 1 brother. Wow. That happens. I see somebody whose nickname is Man Boobs is bidding on the ET plush with sweater. It's like when you have an email address that you picked when you were like a kid, and then you grow into an adult and you're stuck with that email if you don't change it. I had a friend that I worked with, and Hotmail had just came out as a Hotmail account, and he was Hotmail, M-A-L-E, at hotmail.com, and I was kind of impressed that nobody else had taken that email address. But then that means he was applying for jobs, and they'd be like, well, what's your email address? And it's hotmail at hotmail.com. Actually, now that I said his email address online, people are probably going to send him a message and be like, is this account still active? There we go, $160 for the battle damaged Chucky doll. I was watching this little video, and this guy said he was talking to his dad, and he said that he was terrified as a kid. He got freaked out watching the Chucky series when he was a kid, and he had a My Little Buddy doll, which it was kind of based off of, and so he threw it in the trash, and the dad saw it in the trash and thought, well, that's weird. And so he took it out of the trash while the kid was sleeping and put it back on his dresser. Well, the kid thought the doll was possessed and ended up on his dresser. So he buried it in the backyard, and then the dad saw this dirt, and he's like, what the heck is going on here? So he took it out of the dirt and put it back on the kid's dresser. So the whole time the kid's thinking that this doll is possessed and returning to his dresser no matter what he does with it. Scarred him for life, apparently. That would do it. I think eventually he ended up cutting it up, and the dad figured it out by this point what was going on, and he ended up sewing it back together and stuck it back on the kid's dresser. To this day, the kid has like scarred as a grown man, still scarred over his dad doing that. Lots of these action figures coming up. We have, it was pretty much the whole set of these Kenner action figures they're going through right now. And then we're going to be getting into some really neat stuff here. But if you collect Kenner action figures or other figures, there is a variety of stuff here. And apparently I can just talk for no reason at all and talk about whatever. So that's what we're doing here. We're watching stuff end, and I'm yakety yakking. Which is funny because a lot of times when I do these videos, sometimes people say, you talk too much. And then I think, well, if I didn't talk at all, then it would just be silent. And I'm here to have a conversation with you guys. And I don't know, sometimes I forget that I'm here sitting, in my office with a camera pointed at my screen as we watch this auction sale end. But I see that I feel like I'm there with all of you at the exact same time, and kind of having a conversation, like we're sitting down at a coffee shop. That's how it always feels to me. Just so you know, whenever I film these videos, I feel like I'm talking to you like we're having a donut and a coffee or something, and we're just at a coffee shop. Southern Vermont Vintage says, ever sell on Whatnot? I love how they allow us to play music in the background. I have sold on Whatnot before. I did an ad for them once. The challenge I have with Whatnot, and really it's a good platform. There's no problem with Whatnot itself. It's just that I'm selling, when we typically save up enough stuff to do a sale, we're not selling, 15 or 20 or 30 things, which is kind of like a good number for Whatnot, even maybe 50 things. But when you get into like 1,200 items, that is a lot of packing and a lot of keeping track of what's going where. And it's just me here doing all this stuff, and I don't trust my abilities to keep everything super organized. I'd have to basically set up a whole different system. So we deal with the auction because they take care of all of the logistics. And for me, that's really worthwhile, especially when we're doing a big sale. If I was just selling maybe a few things, I'd do it back on Whatnot again. Paul says, did the Buddy L Wrigley truck sell yet? No, it has not. It's still there. It's still up for grabs. There's some really great stuff up. And I'm not just saying that because this is all my own stuff. I'm saying it because this, the Hot Wheels and the Kenner figures and that, that's just stuff that was sitting in a box that I picked up not that long ago. But 90% of the stuff in here is stuff I had on my shelf for years, and stuff that I thought was really cool. When people come over, I do like a little museum tour in my office and be like, this is a King George III sword, or this is a jade mask from 2,000 years ago. And now I've got all this stuff up for auction, and it's a little, you have to almost mentally detach. Otherwise you start going, like, feeling that nausea of, all my stuff is going. So I can't think about it too much. I just have to go, okay, it's going to go, and it's going to go for whatever it goes for. And I'm not going to stress about it. And the market is dictated by whoever is on this sale right now. And So off it goes. But these figures that are selling right now, I was kind of expecting them to go for like the $10 to $15 range. So honestly, they're doing about what I hoped they would do. They're not terribly old, but they are kind of cool. Henry says he has dust for sale. I feel like, you know, as silly as that is, that there was people who would like cut celebrities' hairs and then sell their hair in a bag or something. Like, I cut John Lennon's hair and I'm selling a plastic bag of John Lennon hair, and people would buy it. It's so weird. Mind you, they wouldn't do that now. I don't think people would do that now. One person sells 3,000 in a week, 3,000 items a week on Whatnot. Yeah, I mean, I know it can be done. I honestly just don't want the hassle of having to ship off that much stuff and dealing with it. It's crazy. Gary says, eBay won't let you sell body parts. But what if I'm looking for a fender for my Ford truck? You can't sell body parts on eBay? Or if I need a bumper? How much is the Princess Diana Pokemon? Well, it wasn't a Princess Diana Pokemon. It was a Princess Diana Beanie Baby. And I think, what did it sell for, guys? Like $500 or something like that? It was, anyway, or maybe 1,000 even. It was a lot. I remember being astounded. And I had, when I had my store, I used to have these old flower bins in my shop, and we filled them full of Beanie Babies that I'd pick up when I was buying stuff. And one place I went to, I quite literally had probably 100 of those Princess Diana bears, and I was selling all those Beanie Babies for $5 a piece, and it's not like they were flying off the shelf. And so I looked at that and I went, man, maybe I gave up a bunch of money. And you know, it's the thing, when you have a whole bunch of something and you put a low price, it reminds me when Banksy, if you know who Banksy is, he's a graffiti artist, and he's the one that had the painting sell for a bunch of money at auction, and then he instantly set it through a shredder that was built into the frame. Anyway, he had a street vendor set up in New York selling his paintings for like, I want to say like $20 a painting or something like that. Somebody can correct me. It was a pretty well-known video that was out there. And his whole point was saying that the value of something is dictated by its environment. And all the Banksy artwork that would normally sell for like, you know, $100,000, $200,000 was not even selling for $15 or $20 on the side of the street in New York. And so, yeah. One person, I think in the whole day, they only sold one thing to a lady, and then they revealed that it was a real thing. But he had hired an old man to play sort of the guy selling the art. Anybody else remember that story? Is this just like a fever dream that I had? I don't know if anybody else remembers that or not. Oh, this one's $45 on the Batman. What, nobody wants the Thanos? Don't worry, he can't actually snap his fingers. $10. Well, off that goes. When they pass these things, they actually run it through at the end. BG says, yes, I remember that. Yeah, it is interesting how things work. Stuff is kind of only worth money if somebody else is interested in it. We're coming up on some Pokemon figures here, and this is crazy. I'm going to tell you, I went to Costco this morning to get milk. Everybody was sleeping. I thought I'm going to get up and go there early. It was packed. I got there at 9 a.m. I shouldn't say everybody was sleeping. The kids were sleeping. Melissa was up. But the Costco was absolutely packed. And it was at first thing in the morning. I didn't understand, why was there a lineup of like 400 people outside of the Costco? Then I see people streaming out with boxes, cases of Pokemon cards. Pokemon is super hot right now. It's nuts. I can't believe how insane people are going over Pokemon cards. And my son Jason is definitely dabbling in that world a bit right now, buying packs and getting stuff graded and all this sort of stuff. But people just were going nuts buying Pokemon cards. And mine's Pikachu here is $25 right now. It's watching that go. So I couldn't even get into Costco today because the lineup was so big with people waiting for Pokemon cards. I couldn't even go buy normal stuff. And it kind of reminded me of the 1990s. When people were going nuts over sports cards. Just, if you weren't there and you weren't part of that scene, maybe it didn't mean anything to you. But there was a period of time when people went crazy over hockey and baseball cards and basketball and stuff. And that settled down. There was a period of time when people actually got killed and beaten up in parking lots over Cabbage Patch dolls in the 1980s. Just people go through these fads, you know, where people get really, yeah, John says Cabbage Patch Kids rushes. Yeah, You never know what the next big thing is going to be. And even, I want to say, what was it, like 15 years ago or so, people were going nuts at Barrett-Jackson auction, paying, $100,000, $200,000 for a 68, 69 Dodge Charger, or, Cuda, which are still a really nice car, but the prices really come down on a lot of that stuff too. Those sort of muscle cars and stuff. And I remember in the 1980s, in the 80s and 90s, like a 57 Chevy was the hot thing to have. In the 1980s, it was really cool to have a Model A with a rumble seat. And a Model A Ford was going for $30,000, $35,000, $40,000 for a stored Model A that you can buy now for $10,000 to $15,000. So you never know how things are going to go. Then again, if you would have in 1990 or even in 2000, I remember in 2000, you could buy a Ferrari 308 for about $15,000. Nobody wanted a used Ferrari in the early 2000s. You might think it's crazy of me to say, and you might say that that's not true, but it is true. You could buy a Ferrari 308 or even a Dino Ferrari for really next to nothing. A Dino might have been like 20, 25,000. And that would be like the same price as a brand new minivan at the time. So I want you to think, what is a 2000 Dodge minivan worth now? And what is a 1971 Ferrari Dino worth? Well, I can tell you, if you bought the minivan brand new and paid $25,000 for it in 1999, that minivan now is probably worth $1,500, $2,000. That same money, if you would have put it into a Ferrari Dino, mind you, couldn't have taken the kids to school in that, but if you would have bought the Ferrari Dino, is now worth $600,000. That just goes to show you never know what the heck to put your money in. You can't make sense of anything. I don't know. Do you guys know? I had all kinds of Pokemon cards I found in storage lockers and stuff, and on a couple of units, that's what saved the day in terms of value, was finding that stuff. People went crazy over Beanie Babies too. You never know. Imagine the heist you could do in a minivan, yeah. But you wouldn't look as cool as if you were in a heist in a Dino Ferrari. It is just one of those things. I think Patricia said she collects crosses. I think the goal of all this is that you should really just collect things you like. And if you like it, it doesn't matter. You bought it, you collect it, you like it. The one thing I did hang on to for my collection is I have a collection of Corgi and Dinky toys, but they're only TV and film related. Some of you might know that I worked in the movie business for about a decade or so. And I guess I'm sort of at an arm's length from it right now doing YouTube, but I was a manager and producer and did things in that business, in that world for a while. So I had a little collection of movie related cars that I thought was cool when I was a kid. And I think they're cool now. And so I did hang on to those, but everything else, all my other, corgis and toys and stuff are all going up here today. That said, if we're watching the background right now, you can see there's some figures. We've got some Hot Wheels, and Hot Wheels are still pretty collectible. This Wayne Gretzky card, by the way, isn't mine. That somebody else can sign that. But that said, I did find a Wayne Gretzky card not that long ago, a rookie card that was autographed. You'll notice I have some Wayne Gretzky autographs in the sale. Well, when I bought that collection, there was an autographed Wayne Gretzky rookie card in the mix. And so that I sent off to get graded. I'm waiting for it to come back, and hopefully that'll be all good news there. Generally, these Nissan Skylines, Nissans and Datsuns typically go for pretty good money at the shows and stuff here. Tommy says, when you gave your kid the Pokemon cards, there was a bunch of rare Magic the Gathering. And to be honest with you, I ran it through auction. That binder sold for like $20. Yes, they were real. And yes, I didn't know that those Magic cards were worth anything because I frankly have no clue how to determine what a valuable Magic the Gathering card is. With Pokemon and stuff, it's usually a little easier. They'll make the card kind of holographic or shiny, or they'll make it like full art card or something. So it's obvious what it is. With Magic the Gathering, it's like what the card does determines its value. And to my eyes, they all look exactly the same. So unless you play the game, it's really hard to know what the heck is a good card. So yeah, I lost out on probably, $1,500 or more of value on those cards in that lot, but you can't win them all. And to be honest with you, it went at auction here at Kastner. I just ran it through regular sale. Somebody out there who knows their Magic cards was probably thrilled. So was it worth $1,000 to make somebody happy? At the end of the day, yes, it was. So off it goes. And at today's sale is one of those things too. There's going to be a lot of things that could have sold for a lot more money at some other venue that will go for less here. There'll be some things that sell for more here than they would have gone. So it all kind of balances itself out. $25 bid on the Nissan Skyline GTR. Looking for 30 on that one. See, that's saying what's going to sell for 10, what's going to sell for 30, who knows? Knight Rider, I think that's kind of a cool one. Knight Rider Pursuit car, and it's kind of super pursuit mode. $12.50. That show was so long ago now, I don't know if anybody outside of my generation, like generation, what am I? Gen X? I don't even know what generation I am. Anyway, my generation of people might not know what it is. There's the Ghost Rider car, Batman, and these are the ones with the rubber tires and stuff. This is certainly worth $10, but we'll see. These will go through later in the sale. $10 on the Ace Ventura Jeep. I remember watching that Ace Ventura where he came out of the back of the Rhino, and as a kid, I think I must have nearly cried laughing at that, the ridiculousness of that scene. Generation old fart here, Gen X, but early. I guess I'm Gen X. I was born in the 70s, so there we go. Video game systems are still very popular. There's a Nintendo NES system in the original box. This is also, these A lot and B lots were somebody else's items that got brought in. That's totally fine. And $110 on that. Chesterfield. That must be a Canadian who's on there calling a couch a Chesterfield. Renee says, I think you're Gen X, but you're less angsty. I don't know. I used to listen to Morrissey. What does that mean? And you had Morrissey and Depeche Mode on the playlist. I was pretty angsty back in the day. Maybe I just got mellowed out. Being married to a good woman will mellow an angsty person right out. Let's see. KSTNERS. Or just, you go to K Auctions, the letter K and then auctions.ca to find it. 160 on this right now. This should be about $200 US on this. So that's 160 Canadian is like 115 US. So somebody's going to get a pretty decent deal on that. Looks like it's got the original foam and everything that goes along with it. Tranquilizers will mellow you out just like a good wife. Well, that's true. Here's the Wayne Gretzky card. Currently bid at $425 ungraded. The one I found is, I don't think I showed in a video. It's in phenomenal condition. I hope it comes back with a good grading. We'll see. $275 on the Soapstone Inuit card. It's actually quite large. It's like 1.5 feet tall. It's a big stone. Somebody's getting a nice price on that. Some of the watches are yet to be auctioned off here. 1950s Black Inuit soapstone carving. It is a big one as well. $190 a bid on that. And going to Saanich, it looks like, which has a large indigenous population, and beautiful artwork comes out of the Saanich area. That's Salish and Haida art that you see out there. This is that big, beautiful bronze that I found. This was in a video not that long ago. $250. Actually, I shouldn't say bronze. It says bronze-like. It is metal with a bronze finish on it. It is a French statue. Oh, here we go. Here's a big one. I hope they give this one a little bit more time. $1,200 a bid on this. Incidentally, this is worth anywhere from $5,000 to $15,000. Hard to say what a 2,000-year-old thing goes for. Oh my gosh, it's gonna end at $1,200. Well, yep, that's what happens at a time sale. These Gamma motorcycles are also typically worth a few $100s. They're $50 on that. Oy, history. I probably should have just kept that thing for the $1,200 it sold for. Oh well, there you go. Nitrous Diecast says he had a Wayne Gretzky card. He sold for, what did you say, $120? Yeah, worth more than that now, that's for sure. That other one was pretty beat up. It went for over 400. So $70 bid on the Gamma motorcycle with the Trick Monkey. And we're getting into some really neat toys. Incidentally, it hasn't come up yet. This Yonizawa Super Control car is it's an $1,000 to $1,500 toy. Look it up on eBay. It's crazy money. Currently, it's only bid at like 70 bucks. So it's $1,000 under value. If you guys want to make some money and you're logged in right now, if it were me, I would bid on that. This Technofix is worth several $100s as well. Like, there is money to be made on this stuff for sure. I guess I probably should have just listed that thing on eBay at the end of the day. Well, I guess we'll see what it goes for. You know, I can't beat myself up too much. Yeah, Patricia said, has anything sold yet? Yeah, we've sold, 110 things so far, just about. The Marks Tin Police motorcycles, whoever bids on this is going to love it. It's big. It is a big, nice piece. It looks fantastic on a shelf. Has a little siren. It's a really, really cool piece. Somebody's going to like that. Some stuff will go more, some stuff will go less. That's how it goes. And Lulu says you can only make a huge profit if somebody's willing to pay that large amount. That's true. And although people are asking, you know, $1,000, $1,500 on eBay, they've been sitting up there for a while. So maybe they're willing to sit on it for a lot longer till the person comes around. It is really cool though. That's this thing here. It has headlights and it drives around on its own course. Really neat thing. $100 bid on the Marks Tin Police motorcycle with siren. Will it get to 110? There's 8 seconds remaining. $100 bid, looking for 110. 100 bid, looking for 110. Is it going to get there? Is somebody waiting until the last second to bid? Nope, off it goes. This is a cute little bird. It chirps, its wings flap, its beak opens and closes. It's a musical, like more of a automaton. $80 bid right now. It takes a standard key. I don't see the key in the picture. There was a key with it. I'll have to check with the auction house. Celine says that mask should have been in a large auction house. You're right. I probably could have sent that thing off. But I have sent stuff to big auction houses before and not done as well. Like when I sent all those comics off to New York, I probably would have done just as well or better to have just sold them at this auction house. So you never know. This is the big mechanical Gamma tipper truck that I found all the pieces for in the Potter's house. It was one of the only things I kept out of the Potter's house. Out of the thousands of items that I pulled out of that house, this was one of the only pieces that I kept. And it took me the entire series to build it and put it back together. So if you watch that Potter's house series, you'll find me over the course of the 20 videos or whatever. One day I'll find the hood, one day I'll find the body, one day I'll find the back, and I pieced it all together and put it together, and it's in phenomenal condition. So that is one thing that was definitely prominent in the video. This is a really neat piece. The Spirit of St. Louis from the 1920s, and it's got the original box, and it's got the extra parts and the instructions in there. Really, really neat piece, and hard to find with the original packaging. 60 now, 70. $70 looking for 80, $10 increments now. Big auction houses do take a larger commission too. The other reason I decided to use casters for this sale in particular was that a lot of our viewers already have accounts set up with them over the last, you know, almost 10 years that I've been doing auctions with them. So, you know, you're not going to have, it wouldn't be easy for any of my viewers to bid on some of this stuff if I would have gone with a different auction house too. So, you know, you roll it. That's what I put in the description, rolling the dice. That's what today is. $90 bid on the Spirit of St. Louis. Should be, will it hit $100? Should be. Yeah, $100. All day long, that's a $100 toy. I found that in there was an episode where I found that. And I was pretty impressed that it was all complete and everything. Really, really neat piece. Not every day I get to buy somebody's great aunt's collection of toys that's been sitting in the closet for like 80 years, but I did. It was super cool. $110 bid right now. I'm just reading some of the comments. Really hope somebody got the truck that watched the series. I guess we'll find out. I don't know. Maybe they'll put in the comments. 120 bid on the Spirit of St. Louis. Will it get to 130? Lulu says, do you know the value of 80s Cabbage Patch dolls lately? I've been surprised that if they're in the box with the paperwork, they've been going for okay money. But I'd say like the $100 to $200 to $300 kind of range. They're not like in the thousands of dollars. I could be wrong. This thing is the $1,500 car, $250 Will it get 275? If anybody looked this thing up online, they'll know it's worth a lot of money. And it does work. I actually put batteries in it, used to run it around in my office with the lights off for my kids. Back to the kids in the dark. I would put this on the floor and turn it on. It would go drive around figure eights and C shapes and then drive around and return, and the headlights turn on and off. It's really, really cool. 325, looking for 350. Uh-oh. I'm starting to get into my auctioneer voice. 325, now 350, looking for 350. Will it get there? One more second. 350, looking for 375. And my auction voice eventually turns into a Jeff Goldblum impersonation. I don't know where my brain goes. 375, now looking for, is anybody, the funny thing is about 375, now we're looking for 400, oh gosh, golly, $400, that's fantastic, 400, 375, will we get there? I don't know, somebody bid $400 now, 425, yeah, going for $2,000 on eBay, somebody said. So yeah, keep the paddle up, folks, keep on bidding, you got lots of room left on this one. $425, looking for $450. Lock Key says, auctions are better entertainment than anything on TV anyway. Well, this is real life. This is happening right now. 425, looking for 450. 1 second left. Oh, 450, 475 in the final seconds. Will it get to 500? Oh, keep on climbing, folks. Now, that said, even though it's worth a couple $1,000s, I probably didn't pay that much for it. 475. Will we get to $500? The thing about DNA, $550 bid. There are some serious enthusiasts on at the sale right now who know the value of some of this stuff, and that makes me happy. I hope they stick through it. There's a couple other really good items coming up. In fact, this JNF prototype 356 battery-operated Porsche is a really good one too. Gary says, I need to make an animated series about Jeff Goldblum and hire Alexander to do his voice. $600, $650 we're looking for. 600 now, 650, 600, $600 now, looking 650. Wow, 650 bid, looking for 700. 700, will we get there? 650. It's a battle between three people right now. 650 bid, 6 seconds remaining. Don't let it go. That's a bargain. I mean, good on you for getting it for that price. And oh, last second, $700. No, Boomer Bust says, what are you going to do with the money? No, frankly, it's just going into the kids' education fund. This is putting a bunch of stuff up for sale and making sure the kids have money for college primarily. We've got 2 in this year, and then Abigail's coming up soon. Sold for $700. Some money left on the table on that one for whoever bought it. They still have an opportunity to make $1,000 or more on it, so good for them. And a good item. $22.50 bid on the Porsche race car. And that is a nice vintage piece, tin car. Off it went. The Chrome Chase Batmobile, $180 is bid on this. And that's our friend Todd who's bidding. Todd probably saw online that these can sell if they're in the box for $1,000. This one doesn't have its box, but you're getting a $1,000 car for $180. So there's that. $190. Uh-oh, you got outbid, Todd. Is the Eagle Man gonna snipe, gonna scoop back in there? Let's find out. $190 the bid, last call, $200. Can't buy this thing at a show for $200, that's for sure. When they're $1,000 in the box, usually it's about half price, so that went undervalued, but that's okay. The Yonezawa, a modern toy space tank, is actually kind of a valuable piece. $60 is kind of a shame, but here's one of those things. In the 1980s and 90s, this would have been a $1,000 toy like this. Look at where we're at right now, $60. It just all goes to generational interest, where the markets are at. 70 now, 80. 80, looking for 90. We did have a cool story, yes. But we still have some interesting stuff there. No, there is a watch that has a Rolex movement. There's a Solar Aqua Prima watch in here, which was sold at the Eaton's department store, but they used Rolex movements. And some of them used to actually have the Rolex crowns. That style doesn't, but it does have a Rolex movement in it. Anyway, that watch hasn't gone through yet. 120 bid, now 130. Gary says, looked it up, the space tank is $375 US minimum. So we're less than half price. We're a third of its value here today. If you haven't logged in yet, and if you're not seeing that there's value in this auction and getting some good deals for yourself, then you should log in and do it. kauctions.ca, log in. It's easy. They just get your credit information there. They run it through on the card. They ship anywhere in the world. 140 bid on this, looking for 150, 140, 140, 140, and off it goes. This guy should at least be a few $100 too. It's a prototype Porsche 356, and it's so early that they weren't even quite sure what the car was going to end up being. This would be like late 40s, probably early 50s around the time when the prototype Porsche was around. $140, 150, 160. Invest Connect says, I'm half expecting Alex to have secretly kept the Zoltar machine. No, a lot of people told me I should have kept it because I always liked the Zoltar and probably would have been a neat thing to have in the garage, but you know, having that guy come on every once in a while going, calm, get your fortune read. Zoltar sees all every 5 minutes in the background would have been a little unnerving. 170 the bid on that right now. If anybody's a toy collector and they're at this sale, they're getting lots of great stuff and lots of great deals. Again, this stuff took me decades to find and put together this collection that you're seeing go through here today. Some of it was more recent. Some of it was stuff that I had for quite some time. 180 the bid. Will it get to 190? 190. Whoo! Whoo, that was 200. We have new players in the game. It's 2 or 3 people going at it right now. $200. And the paint on this thing is in phenomenal condition. It has a plaid interior, which is pretty cool. $200 the bid. Will it get to 225? 200 bid, and oh, $200. There it goes. This Kilgore truck is actually quite valuable as well. Gary, you probably looked this one up before too, but that's I think usually around $300 to $400 or more US. $60 a bid. I don't have the store any longer. No, that what you're watching right now is essentially me having my store, although this is my own stuff. But when we do these auction sales, this is how I do it now. Do it online, sell it off. And you have to think that even though I might have got more money for some of the stuff at my store, I don't have the overhead of the store. I don't have staff. I don't have heat. I don't have water. I don't have property taxes. I'm not getting broken into there because I don't hang on to stuff long enough for anybody to steal anything. It's just one and done and gone. Back into some Hot Wheels here. That was a good little run of some interesting stuff that sold. I'm glad that one car did go up a bit because honestly, it was at $70 before and I was having a bit of a mild coronary episode over it. We have, oh yeah, there's some painting and artwork and action figures and stuff coming up. I'm just scrolling through to see all the things that are coming through. We have a big variety. Oh, there's those Northwest Territory polar plates are going to be going through in a bit. Oh, I am seriously just taking a breather for a second. I do find sewing stuff all the time. In fact, there was one house that I bought which was completely full of weaving looms and sewing stuff. It was called the Weaver's House series, I think. It's on YouTube somewhere. But I do find that stuff regularly, yeah. I guess I can take this moment to answer some questions and read comments while we're going through some of the Hot Wheels. Gary said, oh, I love the Weaver's House. Yeah, we got a car out of that one too. There was a car in the garage. Like, we got everything. The person's mom had was no longer in the home, and the son lived in New York, I want to say, was a professor, and just really couldn't come deal with it. So they needed to sell the house. That's sometimes how it goes. We get a call where somebody needs to sell the property. They're not around to deal with it, and then we go in and we'll buy all their contents. And yeah, we found there was a car. Oh, I didn't swear, by the way, just then. I said frick. I might have said that too fast and sounded like I cussed, but don't worry, that's not me to use foul language. Any items you're surprised sold for a good price? Well, the Chucky doll went for more than I would have thought it would, and some of the Hot Wheels and stuff are doing okay, for about what I expected. Let's see, I'm just looking at the prices right now. I'd say generally stuff is selling a little lower. I mean, I'm the one who put the stuff at the sale, so I can't complain too much. But yeah, some stuff that should have been in the hundreds didn't sell for much. Some stuff is selling for what I expected it would. We're just going to kind of take a tally at the end of the sale. And okay, here's my thoughts on this, guys. Yes, in some cases with some of this stuff, I could have gotten more money elsewhere. That said, what's your time worth? What's my life worth, you know? And this was all stuff that I considered to be dead money. It was all money that was out the door, and I'm trying to liquefy it again and get it back in the old coffers. So what good was it doing me sitting in a box or sitting on a shelf? It's just time for some of the stuff to go. That said, there is some stuff that is doing okay. I know that there was a lot of interest in the pistols. There was a lot of interest in some of the silver vintage and antique coins that I have, the Morgan dollars and peace dollars that are up at this sale. Oh, that said, there is a coin sale that I've got coming up pretty soon. In fact, I think it goes live tomorrow. So if you are a coin collector, we have a big coin auction happening. Same auction site, kauctions.ca, and all that stuff will be going off right away. You know, it's one of those things. I can't beat myself up over losing money on some stuff when, you know, you get money back or make money on others. As long as it's money coming back in and it's no longer on my shelf and I can use it for things that I need to use it for, you know, there's more important stuff going on in my world right now rather than me having boxes full of Hot Wheels and toys and artifacts on my shelf. And like I said, I did keep some things. Oh, which item are you most sad to see go? Well, the historic artifacts are tough to see go because I'll probably never be able to buy them again, because it's actually, the only reason I was able to buy those in the first place is that it came from a museum and I had the paperwork. Otherwise, you can't legally buy a 2,000-year-old jade artifact like that anymore. So some stuff people will never have a chance to buy again. This is just an odd scenario where I was able to legally end up with it and legally sell it. But some stuff, you know, I'm never going to have a chance to own again. So that stuff is a little hard to let go. Some of the toys too, things that I really liked looking at on my shelves, where I might have, not literally, but figuratively arm swept my shelves in there and then realized after I put it up that, heck, maybe I should have just tried to sell it some other way or hung on to it. But that said, these premium Hot Wheels are going for a very fair price. So if anybody's a Hot Wheel collector, they're getting lots of good deals on this stuff. Volkswagen bus like that used to sell for, that should be like a $40, $50 thing. It's a heavy die-cast Volkswagen bus. $10 the bid on that guy right now. But somebody's going to be getting some good deals. Somebody said selling these Hot Wheels on Whatnot would have been pretty decent. Yeah, I guess maybe that's where people are going for this type of stuff now. Hard to say. But you can still log in. The sale's not done yet. You know, we're only 142 items into a 1,200 lot sale. So there's lots to go. Lulu said, do you know if those thieves got caught after you purchased those storage lockers? The reason the storage lockers went up for sale is because they were incarcerated, apparently. So yes, they did get caught. And any IDs and things like that. That works sometimes. You know, you just buy a storage locker. I thought it was going to be somebody's collection. They were talking about a video I posted not that long ago. There was a collection of, I thought it was going to be like maybe a baby boomers collection of like Elvis and Marilyn Monroe stuff. I thought, okay, why not? We'll bid on that stuff. I'm going to stick around for a while, Lulu. Honestly, somebody said, will you be on for the watches to go through? This is kind of what I got planned for the day, is doing a live stream here and chatting with you guys. And as people kind of come and go and log in and log off and check out the auction sale. Oh, the Beatles revolver. It's like a milk van. $15 on that. Beatles stuff always still popular. Yeah, I'll be sticking with you guys on the sale for a while here, because I'm just as curious as you guys probably are to see what this stuff goes for. So there's probably a couple, there's a few things that I probably would have hung on to, or things that if I went to somebody's house and found a lot of this stuff, and I don't know, I probably would have bought. Oh, my own paintings are coming up that I did. I just did a couple paintings in the style of Liechtenstein to put in my garage, and I decided when I was kind of getting rid of a bunch of the artwork I had in there that I put my own stuff through too. 1970 Super Bee diecast, $15. The Thundercats Thunder Tank, 35. See, some things are going for more than 10 bucks. Just depends on what people like. 35 on that. I think the Masters of the Universe Wind Raider thing was had a decent bid on it as well. Nope, 10 bucks. I thought it was more than that, but that's all right. I never had He-Man toys as a kid. Never had, yeah, some stuff is going for retail. That's the thing with an auction like this. Some stuff will sell for more, some stuff will sell for less, and some stuff will sell. It's like the porridge and the bears, the three little bears. Or the three, what? Goldilocks and the three little bears. Is that it? My mind has gone blank. The Goldilocks story anyway. At the end of the day, you hope you get the porridge just right. And whatever stuff sells for is Goldilocks and the three bears. My gosh. You know when you have a brain fart? That happens to me a lot lately. Or you're driving and you're supposed to go somewhere. I was supposed to drive somewhere the other day and I ended up driving to my old house, the one I used to live in. Now, what am I doing down here? You know, like you just get caught. You're thinking about something else and, you know, you just decide to take a familiar street. I think I've had just an awful lot on my mind lately. Got a lot of stuff going on though. I'm in the midst of several car restoration series, like regular cars. So for those of you that were saying, how come we never see you working on cars anymore? Well, I'm trying to do whatever I am interested myself, but also the content kind of rotates. You know, we do some storage auction videos. We do some house clearouts every once in a while when those come around. We're doing the auctions right now, and we've got some car stuff just in time for the summer. We'll have some interesting car renovation series for over summer here when everybody's thinking about cars. Lulu says, what would you say is a good used car to buy? Well, I'll tell you what, Abigail needed to get a car. She's turning 16 and you can drive a car here in Canada at the age of 16. You can get your driver's license and drive on your own. I don't know what it is anywhere else in the world, but it's 16 here. So we picked up a used car for her and, well, a used car for the family. And it's going to be one that she'll be able to drive herself to school. So what did I decide to get for Abigail? I wanted to make sure it was something that was newer, but not crazy expensive. We wanted it to be all-wheel drive, but not too big that was difficult for her to park. So we bought her a 2017 Audi A4. And to be honest with you, seems like a great car. We bought one in really nice condition off the original owners. The price was good on it, and it's been phenomenal. We took it in to get inspected, and they said, yeah, like your car doesn't need anything, maybe brakes in a couple of years, but you're fine. And we've been driving it sort of as a regular car. So Crystal says, so not a 73 Lincoln Continental? Hey, there's nothing wrong with the 73 Lincoln Continental. But I'm just saying for like a newer used car. That said, my son Jason has a Ford Escape, 2007 Ford Escape, and it's been really good too. And the nice thing about a domestic car, at least here in the Americas, I'm in Canada, of course, but it's easy to get parts for North American made vehicles here. Melissa has a Volvo XC90, which is good, but the Volvo's been in the shop for quite a few things, and it's not as good as it used to be, I have to say. I'm sorry, Volvo, but that's my experience with it. The dealership is nice, the cars look great, it's fancy on the interior, but the build quality isn't quite as good as it was prior to the change of ownership. Anyway, the Audi seems like a good car, and so far we seem pretty happy with it, and that's what she'll be tootling around in that. Honda makes parts in the USA too. Yeah, that's true. You can get Honda parts, like if it's a major manufacturer. The Audi parts primarily come from America or Germany, of course. My first car was a motorcycle. My first car was a scooter. I had a Honda 50 Cub. That was my first vehicle I ever drove. Saab was a good car when it was still a Swedish-owned company, and I think they went to Ford ownership, and then the motors got wrecked, and those engines are pretty unreliable in the last models of Saabs. But the Swedish-made ones were amazing cars. Those were great cars. You get like a 1992 Saab 900 Turbo, awesome car. Really fun to drive. They look neat. They look like space age almost. I remember my dad's friend when I was a kid had a Saab 900 Turbo. It was the Aero edition. It had really funky wheels, and it was black with black leather, and it looked like it came out of a spaceship. Like it looked like a space pod. It was the coolest thing. Hard to say. I guess just buy what you like. Volvo, Ford as well now. Oh, what is Volvo part of Ford? I thought it was a different company. I thought it was like not Tata. I thought it was something else that owned it now. Anyway. Yeah, some old Volkswagens, especially the diesel Volkswagens, will last forever. They'll rust, but the engine will last forever. A diesel Volkswagen is like it's like the old Mercedes from the 70s and early 80s. Those 230 Mercedes will go forever, especially if it's a diesel. Actually, we had a gas one, and that was just a really good car. I don't think it's possible to wear out the interior of a 1970s or early 80s Mercedes. I think it's indestructible. My friend said that if there was ever a nuclear blast, you could wrap yourself in a Mercedes interior and you'd survive because it's so indestructible. They are that MB Tex material that they used. I know I'm talking cars here, but we're kind of looking at pictures of cars and die-cast, and people asked. Lulu says, I heard there's many issues with Teslas. No, I had a Tesla, and I bought it brand new. It's the only car I've ever bought brand new in my whole life. And I sold it before the, let's say the sentiment changed toward the company a bit. I don't want to get into politics at all, but the price did depreciate on them a fair bit. But as a car, honestly, it was a very good car, unless it was winter and you had the rear-wheel drive model, which I had, and it got stuck everywhere. It was the worst car in winter, and mainly that's why I sold it. I put brand new tires on it before I sold it. It was a little bit better. The tires only lasted a year. I had the car a year, and I was like, how are the tires bald already? It's only been on there a year. So because it's so heavy, the tires just wear out really quick on it as well. But it did all the car stuff you'd hope a car would do. It was comfortable. It was a nice car. The air conditioner, the heater, no issues with it. The shop was phenomenal. You just schedule your appointment and they fix it like while you're drinking your drink. It's still done. I've never had an experience at a shop as good as that. But I also thought, well, I've got this newer car and I'm not even driving any of my old cars because I got this new car. So I kind of sold it to force myself to drive all my classic cars I've got. And so far I've been having a lot of fun. I've been out there tootling around in all my old cars and just enjoying life in general. Somebody said their first car was a secondhand BMW 528. Yeah, the old Beamers were pretty new. I'm just reading some of the comments right now. I'm driving a Geely car. Don't even know what that is. A year of tires is a deal breaker for me. Yeah, and the tires were expensive on that car too. So yeah, I was pretty disappointed with how fast it went through tires. Also disappointed with how it performed in a moderate amount of snow. And so I have that old Jeep that I've been driving in winter last year, the Wagoneer, and that thing is like a snow plow. You could drive through like 3 feet of snow and it doesn't even blink. It is an amazingly good vehicle in winter. So, and I had it, had the undercarriage of the Jeep. I don't know if you ever saw, I did an episode called Beep Beep. I bought a Jeep. Oh, here's one of my paintings, 45 bucks. Hey, I guess it was worth putting the time into painting. I did a, oh my gosh, I went blank there. I did a little episode on the Jeep. Since then, because I was driving winter, I had the whole undercarriage completely dry ice blasted and then coated with a protectant sealant so it won't get rusty. And it looks like brand new under there right now. So just trying to keep it, so it's in good shape. The undercoating that's on there is what they call like a honey wax. And we'll see. We'll see how it does. Getting into a few paintings now. $35 on that one. Yeah, so if anybody lives in a wintry climate, probably, you know, when you see those videos of a Tesla Cybertruck getting stuck, yeah, they do. And they would. It's not a super practical vehicle for winter conditions. And if you're in a dry climate, like people in California, probably a Tesla's a great vehicle to have in terms of it being a vehicle. Your thoughts about the company aside, as a functioning vehicle, it was fine. It's a pastel, $30 on that one. Heck, it's probably worth it for the frame. The next one is a beautiful watercolor of a spider web. That's a watercolor. It looks like a photograph, but they did such a nice job. Like to get that kind of deal on a detail in a watercolor is a little challenging. So they did a lovely job on that. $40 a bit on that one. Have a couple oil paintings coming up too. There's one of a seagull and one of sort of a, I guess I should say, hey, my artwork is selling as much as these actual artists' artwork, although it's only, you know, 35, 40 bucks. I'm sure, I think on the back it said the guy spent 350 or so on this at a gallery. $30 a bid on the seagull. And same on this, Gene Getty's. Look, they're listed. You can find their artwork in other places. That kind of reminds me of that Bob Rossi era of 1980s artwork, where it was, you know, like farm buildings and happy little trees in the background and stuff. $30 a bid. Somebody's going to like it. It's nicely done. Ninja Turtles. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. To go see this in the theater. I shouldn't say they're still my kids, but almost all of my kids are adults now. What's happening? You guys have been with me since my daughter was a toddler and now she's driving a car. That's what's happened in the last 9 years of this channel. This is from the animated movie, $12.50. Seems like $12.50 is about the going price on these. I'm curious to know what the Pizza Fire Volkswagen van new in the box will go for. That's coming up here soon. And by the way, thank you for the 1,000 people who have stuck with me for the last hour or so while we've been doing this live stream. Yeah, 9 years. So I don't know if it's Celine or Celiane. You have a very French first name and a very Irish-sounding last name. So I'm not sure how your folks would have said it. Oh, 20 bucks is low on that. That should probably be like at least 40, 50 bucks, something like that. Well, see if it gets bid on. There it goes, a little bit. $22.50. 25, will we get there? $25 on the pizza van. That's the newer style Volkswagen bus, like from the 80s. $25, 25 bid. We're getting there. Yeah, somebody is going to get the whole set, possibly. 25 bid. We got 5 seconds left. We'll get to 30. Well, I don't know. We'll get to $30. Let's find out. Nope. 25 bucks. Somebody got a good deal on that. Bunch of Disney character Hot Wheel cars. Hey, those are just cool. If you like Disney stuff and you like cars, you got kids that are into this stuff, what a fun little thing to have. Or if you're a collector, it's a nice series, nice little set. We are going to be getting into some more of the antiques in the next few lots here. It kind of changes gears. I didn't realize how many Hot Wheels I put through this sale. That was from that last, I did a video on it, buying all those Corgi toys and Hot Wheel cars and stuff. That was just a pile of stuff. You know, to be honest with you, I don't even know if this video came out yet. I might be doing the auction for the thing before the video came out yet. You'd be surprised. I schedule some stuff in advance just so I'm not stressed. Like when I was doing the Potter's House, the Musician's House series, I would film, drive all night, get back home, edit the video, and then people would be like, when's the next video coming out? And you'd be like, I haven't even filmed it yet. Like they were watching it basically in real time. So now I try and schedule stuff a little bit out, so I've got a bit of a buffer zone. Disney cars with the real rider tires on 20 bucks. That's $5 a car. That's pretty cheap. Pretty cheap. Sapporo J says, Alex, how do you register your cars so quickly when you pick them up, like the same day? So you're saying when I buy a car and it's registered in the same day. Well, if you have the, oh, did I lose my connection there? It looks like it's still alive. Let me refresh. Maybe I let the screen sit for too long. So when you buy a car, Am I still live? I think so. I don't think it went dead everywhere. I think it's just the auction went down for a little second here. If it was sold in the province of Alberta for me, and I can get my I have a. You can go to just get your, as soon as you get your registration from your insurance company, or sorry, your insurance papers from your insurance company, you can go and just walk in and get it registered. And you get your plates or just deal with it right then and there. Sorry, guys. Having a little bit of connectivity issues here. Well, that was bid at $25. Hang on, I'm going to turn this around and look at me. Oh, hey, it's me. I'm here. While I try and get the connection reestablished here on ye old computer, I'm just going to do a little troubleshooting here. It's just mainly Hot Wheels and stuff selling right now anyway, so we'll see if we can get that reconnected. In the meantime, though, we've sold almost 200 things right now. Oh, Junkin says here in the US, every place to get plates has 2 to 3 hour queues. What? No. To get plates here, it's the worst you'd have to wait here we don't have DMVs, we have privately owned registry offices. The worst you'd have to wait here would be like maybe 10 minutes or so, if that. A lot of times you can walk in and there's only one person ahead of you. And so you just walk in and you're in and out with your plates in probably 10, 15 minutes. It's a really good setup. We're back, we're live. Yeah, there's online bidding right now. Dave says, what? No online bidding? It's all online. So you should go online to kauctions.ca. We're not doing the live bidding on the live stream here. You have to go and log into the auction website to bid. But that is kauctions.ca, and you can find that there. Who knew that this coyote skull I found in a storage unit? $100, I guess. There's a demand for professionally cleaned skulls like that, 120. We're going to be getting into, we've got like the service station pails. This stuff was really hot. By the way, this antifreeze can that sold for $22, that was in mint condition, $1,000 a couple years ago. Shows you how things have changed in the price of oil cans. 150, 160, that's an okay price on the White Rose service station pail. Let's see. Yeah, in the US, you wait at the DMV forever, and then they finally say they filled out the wrong form. Takes a few minutes to get plates here. We go to tax office to get ours. No, like, it's really quick. So here's the process for me if I buy a car. I phone my insurance company or I send them an email, and they will email me a temporary insurance card while they mail me the actual one, but you can take that in. So you go in with your bill of sale, your driver's license, and your insurance papers to any registry office. It doesn't have to be any specific one. There's tons of them all over the place. So you just go into one. And they're usually like in a strip mall, or like they're everywhere. So you just go in. Like I said, the lineup's usually not bad. The worst has ever been maybe like 4 or 5 people ahead of me. It's never really terrible. And it usually only takes, sometimes it's instant. You just walk right up. They photocopy your info, they enter in your insurance info, they assign you a registration card, which is essentially like our title here. And that whole process, if there's nobody in line, will take probably 10 minutes. So yeah, it's really no big deal. Oh, this is getting bids. $190 bid right now on the jade carved Asian statue. $190 on that. He had a good day fishing, this guy. $190 bid. By the way, I'm not sponsored by Haggerty. Wish I was. If you're watching Haggerty, Haggerty's been amazing. If you have a vintage or classic car, 25 years or older, I think is what their cutoff is, go to Haggerty for your car insurance. They're amazing people. I've had nothing but good things to say about Haggerty. It's an awesome, awesome company. I wish I would have been with them for a long time because they're very fair with their pricing. They're very easy to deal with, and they're definitely on the ball. $225 for the statue. Back to a few lots of Hot Wheels. Again, if you're watching this, you're going to think this is just a sale of Hot Wheels cars, but it's not. This is just part of the sale. And it's funny that they put the jade statue in, they inventoried it with a bunch of Hot Wheels, but my gosh. Okay. Well, I did have a big toy collection. That is true. And we do get into some of the watches coming up here pretty soon. For those of you that were looking for watches, I'm sticking with you guys for a while. We're here. This is like a marathon of an auction. 30 bucks right now on the special editions Hot Wheels. Oh, last time they went to the auto bureau, somebody says the room was full. Is that because you guys only have certain buildings you can go to? Like for us, there's all kinds of registry offices everywhere. And like I said, they're privately owned. They work in conjunction with the government, so they're privatized. So they're all over the place. And you do your driver's test with them and everything. Is it hard to watch these items being sold compared to prior auctions? No, I can't control where the market's at on things. Junkin says, some states in the US have private locations too, but some don't. Yeah, it's just, differences in the systems, I guess. I always thought that we had a long wait to see a doctor here. But if you book your appointment with your doctor, you usually have to sit in that waiting room for still 10 minutes or so before you see your doctor. I don't know what it's like in the United States. If it's a walk-in, you might be waiting an hour or more where I am in Alberta. I'm just speaking to where I'm in Alberta. Don't know what it's like. Those are usually the only places you have to wait. Never have a problem with the registry office. That's always fast. Glenn says, after dealing with the price of insurance these days, I've decided it's cheaper to just get robbed. I guess you're not talking about car insurance because you kind of need car insurance. Somebody says doctors 5 minutes to an hour. Who knows? It sounds like it's kind of the same thing. Like here, if you have a family doctor, it's trickier getting a family doctor here now. That's the problem. And you certainly don't have, the doctor doesn't give you their private number here. I was watching a Curb Your Enthusiasm and they were complaining that they couldn't call the doctor on the weekend. I was thinking, well, that's weird. We don't get our doctor's phone numbers. I don't know if that's a thing in the United States or elsewhere. For us, it's just like if it's an emergency, you go to the hospital. If you want to speak to your family doctor, you just set up an appointment and just go. I don't know. Don't know all the different systems. So selling lots of Hot Wheels here. How is the auction progressing? Good price or not? I would say, well, some of the stuff is selling low. Certainly those cars are probably $5 to $10 each normally, and so they're selling for less. The point is things are selling. Some stuff is selling okay. Some stuff is selling low. But the point is things are selling, and I'm always happy when I don't have to bring stuff home. Somebody asked me before, like, do you have a hard time when you're doing these storage lockers and you don't keep all the stuff? No, I wouldn't want all that stuff. What do I need all this stuff for? We're doing this just to, hopefully find a few treasures and have the experience of digging for stuff. So for my collection to go, no, I'm not saddened by it. I'd be more sad if they said nothing sold, come pick everything up. I'd be like, oh, I don't want to bring everything back. What am I going to do with this stuff? Once I've decided to detach from something, I don't want to see it again. I just want to move on. Let's see, I'm just reading the comments here. 1 DMV office per county. What? Aren't your counties pretty big? We have the equivalent of probably 6 equivalent DMVs, which would be registry offices, in a 10-minute drive from where my house is. There must be like 100 of them in my city. Frederick says it's a fine line between hoarding and reselling. This is true. I think I've just come to, I'm becoming more, okay, don't laugh when I say this, more of a minimalist. And I know you're going to say, Alex, but don't you have a problem with cars? Yeah, I do. But they're tidy and they're clean and the garage is clean. It's all the small stuff that, it's easy to sell a car. You just list it and it's gone. And then there's a giant thing gone. Crystal says, hoarders don't usually resell. That's true. Sometimes they say they will, but then they don't. This was an odd one. It's a flashlight, but it's from the laboratories from Stranger Things. It was a special edition flashlight that they put out for Stranger Things. $40 on the flashlight. See that this is an item, I'm totally fine, 40 bucks. Good, I'm happy, 40 bucks. 25 bucks on the Batman stuff, sure, that can go for 25 bucks or more. Do you require receipts for every purchase for accounting? No. Well, in this case, this is my own private stuff, but when I'm reselling stuff on behalf of the store, we do track everything. Not individually, because that's impossible, but we do, like, if it's a big collection, of course we track that stuff. $60 on the polar bear plate. I think these came out of a storage unit that I paid maybe 100 or 200 bucks for. And I said, well, I'll probably just get my money back out of license plates, and that'll probably be the case. 50 bucks. Will it get to 60, $50? Sometimes people, when it's 2 in a row, they wait. See, now this one's more. Same plate. That other one was actually in better shape for less money. $70 now. You go, oh, great. I was going to wait for this next place, but it's more money. So this is your only chance to get one now. Will it go up? Who's to say? So that storage locker that might have been a bust was probably a gain because of finding those two things. And it had a couple of good knives in it too. Generally, it was a bunch of garbage. But you hope you're going to find at least a couple of things. These plates actually came off of my Ferrari. These are the plates that were registered to my 1967 Ferrari. But I don't, I can't use them. I'm not in Virginia. So they can go to a collector. Oh, this is a neat one. This is the one that actually came out. We're talking about registry offices. This is what they hang on the wall of a registry office to show you what the new plates look like. So the SAM stands for sample 000. So the only way to get one of these is when the registry office is done. They're supposed to destroy them. This one made it out into the wild. And it is legal though. It's fine. 110 bucks on that. Hoffman Motors license plate frame, 10 bucks. Volkswagen Porsche Lancia. $10 on that. So somebody's probably going to put that on their Volkswagen, obviously. Old V-dub. So these license plate frames are fun, especially if you have an old car. You put it on there, and if you've got a Nissan like this or an old Ford, it's just kind of nice to dress up the license plate. They still, a lot of places still give you a license plate frame. Here in Canada, you don't typically see the chrome or metal ones. They stopped doing that probably in the 1970s here. Then it went to plastic frames. But I noticed in the United States, they still give out nice chrome metal license plate frames. In fact, when I was in Hawaii, I stopped at the Maui Mercedes dealer to get a plate frame. I was going to buy it, and they just gave one to me. And I have that on my old Benz right now. Crystal says, same with promotional stuff, supposed to be destroyed after the promo ends. Yeah, that always bothered me. I was a store manager at Target for a while, and we had, like, you know, when you see those pre-made Lego displays, like it'd be like the Millennium Falcon or something really cool, and it's in a plexiglass container. They throw them out. I said, can't we even just donate this stuff to charity? Nope. Into the dumpster it goes and gets squished. Always drove me crazy. What waste. You wouldn't believe the stuff that gets put in the compact dumpsters at a Target store. All the food, it just makes me sick even thinking about it. So much food that just, like, you know, it's day old. Instead of, you know, I guess I wish they would have set something up with a charity even, or a homeless shelter or something, but they take all the bread and all the chicken and all the stuff that's still edible, but it's on its last day and off it goes to the dump. But it could have been, I don't know. I know a lot of companies have those policies. It was just really hard to see that. The thing that always stands out to me is all those, like, Lego sets in the plexiglass containers being chucked in the dumpster. I was like, no, it's the Millennium Falcon. Don't do it. Crystal says, I know, I used to work in a DVD rental place, and we throw out a lot of good stuff too. With the Target dumpsters, it's a compactor, so I don't think you can't climb into that one. I think it gets compacted and hauled away. But yeah, sometimes there are lots of neat things that show up in a dumpster. Jay Sapporo says, Alex, come to Japan for cool finds. I've been, ohao gozaimasu, konnichiwa. I've been watching some videos in Japan where they buy like a house out in the country, and they're very, very inexpensive. And the people will leave everything behind in the house, and they find, like, you know, 1980s toys and furniture and stuff. Like, every possession a person had when they left that house is still in the house, and they sell the house complete. It's crazy. Sapporo says, yup. Yeah, isn't that wild? That is such a difference in culture. Like, that just wouldn't happen here. For us, when we sell a property, generally it has to be emptied out, and you don't want to have anything in the property at all for it to sell. I know in parts of Europe, you can even rent apartments when the furniture is all still in there. Oh, these should be going for much more than this. These premium sets with the little trailers are pretty pricey little things online. They're really, really cool. But I guess we'll see what it goes for. Celine says she used a dumpster dive, large apartment complex dumpsters at the end of the month when people destroying stuff out. Lots of good stuff in there. Target had Mario, like Super Mario, on a poll from Mario 64, and they came out. Now they're worth $4 to $5 grand. Yeah, and they would have been primarily squished in a dumpster too. I was unfortunately the Bay department store doesn't exist anymore, but I was a store manager for them for a while, and they had really weird practices. What they did with dead inventory, they didn't throw it out. They would just put it in like a storage room and just sit on it. So when I got to the store, I went into the storage room and it was like blouses going back to the 1980s. And this is like in the 2000s that I was a manager there. And I went, why are we sitting on all this product? And they said, well, you know, it's all been marked down to like 99 cents and they don't want us to sell it because the buyers would lose money if the things that took too big of a hit, then the buyers wouldn't get their payout. So they just told them not to sell it. I said, that is stupid. And so I put a whole bunch of racks out. And I said, you know, everything on this rack, $10 a shirt, everything on this rack, $5 a shirt. Well, darned if I didn't sell everything out of the back, you know, and we got a whole bunch of extra money out of the stuff. And, you know, everything was, when you scanned it, came up at 99 cents, but we just overrode like, hey, listen, everything here, $5. And they thought, well, this store seems to be selling all this dead inventory. So what they did is they sent me truckloads of other dead inventory from other stores. So I was like, oh no, it backfired. I was just trying to clean my store up. But they had like mannequins from the 70s that were all weird and they had no value. And so I sold it on Marketplace and I took all the money and I renovated our break room with the money from selling off all that, all the old mannequins and stuff. Sad to me that the store is gone. I went in there and it was just so depressing to see that, you know, it was just not in existence anymore. I was there like the final week before it shut down and it looked so trashy and awful. And I put so much love. You know how hard it is. You put so much love into something like that. You stress about your store, about making quota. You got people like on your butt trying to make sales and you have to try and do all this stuff and you've got staff and employees and keeping the store cleaned and worried about things like light bulbs and getting floors polished and cleaned and security and theft, and now it's all gone. Puts a lot of stuff into perspective when that happens. 72 Chev truck with a 61 Impala, that's a neat little set right there. $30 the bid right now, looking for $35 the bid. 35, will it get there? $30 bid right now. Will somebody put $5 more? Oh, Crystal says they work in IT support. Nice to have actual humans that do that stuff now. So much of it's gone to AI or voice activated stuff. I needed a tow truck the other day and called and it was all automated. Hi, I am Joe, your virtual assistant. I want a real person when I'm stuck on a highway. Are you in a safe location? No. Right. We see that you're calling from this number. And then it goes through this whole thing. And I could have had it accomplished if it was just had a real person with me. Anyway, there's something to be said. Anyway, Crystal, I'm glad that you are a real human being still doing IT support. You can't, I think that you don't get empathy from AI, and even if they programmed it to have empathy, you know it's not real empathy. With a person, it might not be real empathy either, but at least it's a real person. Maybe I'm just old-fashioned. Maybe I'm a dinosaur, but I feel like people are social beasts. Janet says many times the product company requires them to destroy it. Yeah, I know it. I know that they tell them like, we need proof that it's destroyed. I just think that it's, you know. Oh, Crystal's saying, why, yes, I am a real human being, wink, wink. Uh-oh, Crystal's AI. I feel like the world is going in a way where they told us all to get jobs in technology at one point. And now the one thing that can't be done by technology is the trades. And so we'll go back to how it was in the 1800s and 1900s where you need an actual human being to, you know, to build the thing and to, you know, plumb the plumbing. And I think trades will probably be a big growth industry in the future. Trade schools and trades. That's my prediction, that the world continues on, but we see a lot more people in the trades. I thought it's possible that we might end up working for computers. Like if an AI knows that a human being has to do something, what's to say that it couldn't find or cobble together credits of some kind or provide you something to maintain itself? Will we be working for computers in the future? Who knows? But I do know that this Dodge Power Wagon with truck is being bid to $22.50 right now. Watching all the Hot Wheels go. When are we going to get to the, by the way, I guess when this video eventually posts and YouTube's going to be like, did you just post a 3-hour long video? They're going to have to buy another $1 million server just to hold this posting. Oh, Bluebird says, what gets me is the robot voice mispronouncing names of towns when it's an emergency situation. Yep, I've heard that before too. Hey, for whatever reason, you know when you tell your phone like to call a person and then it says back that person's name, like call Henry or call whatever. Well, my Melissa isn't obviously in my phone, so sometimes I'll tell my phone to call Melissa, and it changed. It used to say Melissa, and now it says me Lisa. Like, when did it start doing that? When did it decide to change how my wife's name is said? And I can't fix it. So now, according to my phone, Melissa's name is me Lisa. Like, anybody seen Lisa? Oh yeah, it's me Lisa right over here. Why did they do this? I don't know. I was watching tennis and they've removed the lines and replaced it with computers. They sucked the joy out of it. Oh, that sucks. I don't know. I feel like there's this whole other movement. The one thing I appreciated about the millennials that were like super into old timey stuff, you know, like building, like making jeans the old fashioned way with a 100-year-old cast iron sewing machine or whatever. Eventually it'll come back to that. You know, might be kind of nice if we didn't have electricity for like a month and we had wood burning stoves again and coal oil lamps, and I don't know. Maybe that would also be really awkward since I couldn't post YouTube videos. Hey, there's Biff's Ford car and comes complete with the manure on top. I hate manure. Nobody bid on the BMW. That surprised me. That was a cool one. Hot Wheels Chevy Silverado 4x4, $22. See, some won't even sell for 10, some will sell for $22.50. Sure, these were all the same price, now 25. Rusty says, my 21-year-old grandson is into jazz and vinyl. Good for them. That is one thing I kind of regret selling, and this is very specific, but I had a collection of jazz records, but specifically I had almost every Mose Allison jazz album ever put out because I really like him. Really hard to find his stuff, and once it's gone, it's gone. It's like, well, that took me a decade to put that collection together, and it all just went in one fell swoop, and now I'm kind of doing the same thing with my stuff here today. Incidentally, this first couple hours of the auction has primarily been Hot Wheels with the occasional historic thing thrown in, but I think we're just about through it. I see the Marilyn Monroe picture coming up. I can see some real special stuff on its way here, so stick with us as the auction continues. Today's episode is brought to you by nothing. There's no sponsor today. See, could have filled that airtime with a sponsor. I could have been talking about, like, you know, Uncle Primo's Nachos or something. I don't know. Whatever, insert brand name here. Nissan 300 ZX with the truck. That's a really cool set. That's one of those things you look at and that was like a push and pull between it going in the auction box. $15 is pretty good price. People are getting some good deals on stuff. There'll be some very happy people. This is a neat one, the Yokohama Datsun race truck set. How cool is that? Oh, somebody said that they're, oh yeah, I sold my record collection, did not digitize them first. No, I did not. But that said, I can listen to most of those albums on Apple Music, but Apple Music doesn't have everything. They have a lot of stuff, but they don't have everything. Try finding Interlude by Susie and the Banshees with Morrissey anywhere. That's a hard one to find. I don't even think that's on Apple Music. And that's a random thing to say out loud. But that was the sort of thing that you could almost only find when Napster was around. You're like, gosh, somebody uploaded this random song that Susie and the Banshees and Morrissey put out back in 1989 or whatever that nobody's heard since then. And it's weird. Have you ever noticed on anybody has Apple Music that you'll be like, well, look at this. There's an album I want to listen to, and then half the songs are grayed out, like you can't actually listen to them. It's like, well, what am I paying for this subscription for if I can't even listen to it? Yeah, Napster. We're going old school on that. That almost put the music industry out of business. My algorithm must be confused. Yeah. What is this guy like? He's listening to Daft Punk, Morrissey, Susie and the Banshees, Nick Cave, and Mose Allison. We don't know what this person is. This person doesn't know what this person is. Yeah, the streaming services definitely put record stores out of business. We used to have HMV here, which was like his master's voice RCA company, which sold. I don't know if they had those anywhere else, but we had them here. Big chain. We had A&B Sound used to be around, and it was always fun. You had to go and talk to an actual human being, and you had to like sing them lyrics and stuff. You know, the one that goes na 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 na, and they'd be like, I really don't know what you're talking about. It was an experience going in, and A&B Sound always had really cool stores with escalators and stuff like that. Yeah, CDs, cassettes diminished albums, and then CDs got rid of records and cassettes, and then CDs got put by the wayside by streaming services, which now we're just paying monthly for the rest of our lives. I guess you can still buy it, but you don't really feel like you actually own anything. Oh, by the way, this car that's being bid on right now at $130, that's a ride-on toy. That came from Toli Arutunov, the race car driver. I went to his house. Silent film area, that is a rare piece, actually. United Artists Corp. Think it probably had like a Charlie Chaplin movie in that being sent around. $250 on that. I don't know where you'd find another one. That is such an early piece of movie history. That is one of those things that I had forever. And because I used to work in film, I thought it was a cool thing to have, and I used to keep stuff in it. And I had to make space choices, but that is a neat piece. So good for you. Good for getting that. This is a really nicely detailed log ferry. It's it's standard gauge, like the big Lionel gauge. And it is built by an artist, and really fine detail. Anyway, it's a really neat piece. Marilyn Monroe is coming up next, guys. What do you think the Marilyn Monroe signed picture will go for? I did include the, $700. I did include the paperwork of the lady who sent away and had it signed. That's her estate is who I got it from. $700. I've had it framed so nice too. I did the subtle pink matting on the inside with the matte black border and the black frame. $700. Well, there you go. You wonder? Now I have the answer. That's what I went for. We're getting into some of the older die casts now, like the Corgi toy should be coming up, and some of the rare Hot Wheels and Corgi and stuff. So, the Redline Hot Wheels should be coming up soon. And those Redline Hot Wheels, that should be something to watch because Henry says Morrissey and Susie interlude. Yeah, that's the song. It's just a very mellow, there's some like orchestral bits on it and stuff. Yeah, the Marilyn Monroe picture was certainly signed during her lifetime, and was the lady did a story in a newspaper about how she mailed away to the studio and they sent it back. The thing is, at that time, they did a lot of secretarial signatures. That's why we put studio signed Marilyn Monroe picture, because it was not authenticated. But it was of the era, and it was certainly signed by the studio, or that's what they would send out to a fan. Poison Pinto, this one is a France die cast, which is a really unusual one. That's why I went for $90. Well, Avon, you want to smell like your grandpa circa 1957? Why not? With this Avon Ferrari cologne full. Oh, the DAC 123 says, I won it. Well, congratulations. You won the poison. Well, hopefully you're sticking around the DAC for the Redline Hot Wheels because there's a lot of that coming up soon. What is a cologne that reminds you of your grandpa? I think my grandpa, he used to have a whole bunch of these Avon cologne bottles on his shelf. I think he probably would have smelled like this. I think he would have smelled like Avon cologne. Some people would have like Old Spice. I can't remember what Melissa's dad used to wear. My dad used to wear Ralph Lauren. I think he wore Ralph Lauren Polo cologne. Melissa's dad was maybe Old Spice. There's another one. Out of all the things Melissa kept from her dad, she kept back a bottle of his cologne. And I get it. It's a nice reminder. Aqua Velva. Oh, I forgot about that stuff. Little James Bond car with the little guy in the ejector seat and everything. That was a steal at 25 bucks. There's some red lines that need some TLC, but they're red lines nonetheless. Somebody will restore those. 15 bucks a bit on that. Remember, I did Storage Locker not that long ago, and they had all the weirdest cologne. There was like Zippo did cologne. There was Hummer cologne. It was like everything you wouldn't expect there to be. Apparently WD-40 even put out a cologne. Can you believe that? There's colognes for everything. I guess it was this whole marketing thing for a while, like about 5-10 years ago or so, where they made colognes for everything imaginable. That Hulk is the one where you look in the back and it's got the little viewfinder. WD-40 cologne. Yeah, I guess you just spray WD-40 on yourself. Frankly, I don't mind the smell of WD-40, but I don't think I need to smell like it. Like, it doesn't bother me, but I don't think I'd want to smell intentionally like WD-40. That's, I think is that the man from Uncle Car? I can't remember. Anyway, some old Hot Wheels. There's some old toys. We're getting into some of the Dinky and Corgi toys coming up right away. These are the sorts of things that in the past were worth a whole lot of money. When I started collecting, what did somebody say? Oh, Gary's keeping track of what stuff is selling for. 7,000 bucks worth of stuff sold so far. Well, that's not bad. Got a ways to go. And we have all the Redline Hot Wheels to go. And those are very hot right now, Redline Hot Wheels. So I am kind of hoping that the collectors will get on the train and see. These boxes are nice to have because they can really increase the value of your die cast if you have it too. Sloan's Liniment. What does that smell like? Is it like minty, or does it smell like Vicks Vapor Rub? Hummer clones smell like dirt, mud, worn money, and regret. I feel like the new Hummers that are coming out are electric. Like, I saw one drive by the other day. Oh, some dinky toys. Okay, we're getting into some stuff I used to have on my shelves here. 1950s. See, I do my list on an Apple spreadsheet, and when it uploads to them, that's supposed to be an apostrophe, and it puts out a question mark. It's not like I wasn't sure it was from the 50s. I knew it was from the 50s. Little mini. Somebody's want to fix that up for 10 bucks at $5 a car. Oh, the Green Hornet plinth. That's an original one. So if you have the original Green Hornet car, you can display it on the plinth. It's a nice little piece to have. I kept that around thinking I might find another Green Hornet car and put them together. It didn't happen. Probably will now. Now that I've sold it, I'll find a Green Hornet car in the bottom of a box. All right, we're getting into some older stuff. 1750. Will it go for 20 bucks? Let's find out. Oh, is it 10 bucks? That's low for that. For a 1930s dinky toy. Well, that's okay. 12.50. No reserve means no reserve. 15 bucks for getting there. I would have been happy with like 30 out of that probably. So 17.50. My face is going from the sideways face to slowly smiling as it gets closer. 17.50. We'll get to 20 bucks. 17.50. Those early dinky toys are actually kind of hard to find. See, but I'm okay. 25 bucks on the pair of those. Little Westphalia campers. It's so funny. If I would have left them in the package, they probably would have gone for $5 each. That's the crazy thing. You take them out of the package, they're going for more money. 40 bucks, 45. They are pretty cute, especially if you have a Volkswagen bus. And hello back at you in Amsterdam. A Ghostbusters Matchbox car about 5 years ago. I probably did get that. If it was 5 years ago, because I had one on my till at the store for a while, because I had the Ghostbusters car. $60 bid. See, popular, these bay window buses. Having owned a couple of them now, I don't know. I think I'd buy one that was modified with a different suspension. There's a 1960s Corgi E-Type that is exactly like the one I used to have. It's even a 2+2, 4.2 liter. That's identical to the one I used to own. That's why I had that thing. $80. Hard to find it with the packaging. $80 bid. Will it get to 90? 80 bid. $80 the bid. Looking for 90. $80 bid. One more. Somebody's got to take it. $10 more. Take it home. Don't miss out on it over 10 bucks. $80. There it goes. It's a Waterman fountain pen in nice shape. $110 on that. There is a really nice typewriter in this sale. Very nice typewriter in this sale. And that is my Hammond Multiplex Mathematical Typewriter. Super rare piece. Have no idea. Can anybody tell me what it's bid to right now? 'Cause I'm not sure what it's at. A couple of vintage fountain pens, $45. There is good demand for fountain pens, incidentally. People restore them, fix them up. They write beautifully once you get them all fixed up. Funny you mentioned Ghostbusters. I saw the car today at a toy show. Cool. Yeah, the E-Type was a nice car. And Glenn said, I remember using it to haul stuff around. I do use my cars as cars. And if I'm out, if I drove it to somebody's house and ended up buying more stuff than I thought, that's what I got with me. And yeah, I loaded that E-Type completely packed full of stuff before. But no, it was in nice shape. It was a good driver. Ended up going to British Columbia, which is where it was bought brand new. That's funny you found, somebody said, JJ said, love our videos. Thank you. They bought a self-winding Hamilton. Hamilton's a good brand. And a Waltham 8-day car clock. Both need work. I actually I need a functioning car clock, like the wind-up style that goes in the dash. Pair of antique mechanical pencils. Probably gold fill, $22.50. So we got some pens going through right now. I see a solid silver windmill letter opener and a solid silver Burke's letter opener coming up. It seems right now that anything that is a precious metal is going for good money. These silver letter openers will probably do all right because they're sterling, they're silver. Gold-plated pens, $22.50. Oh, the bullet shell pen, novelty sort of thing, 22 bucks. It's two bullets that are put end to end. You can kind of see that there with the tip of the other bullet being the end of the pen. $22.50. Sort of thing you'd see like at a novelty shop or something like that. The 20 bucks seems light on this, but who am I to say what things sell for now? I think that might be my friend George bidding on it. He said he is definitely a guy. Oh, typewriter's currently bid at $900. That's one to watch. That typewriter might go crazy. Thank you for the update. That typewriter is a rare piece, and that's the sort of thing that if the right person's on it might go nuts. $25 on the Dinky Super Toys Foden flat truck. 25 now. Off it went. See, like when I started collecting back in the 80s and 90s, that truck would have been $200 to $300 at a show. And we scraped $25 out of the sale for something that if you would think in time things would go up. But the problem is a lot of people that had those toys when they were a kid aren't really buying them right now, even though I think they're still cool. Yeah, Ernest says something's only worth what another person's willing to pay for it. Very true. $45 on the fountain pens. What I've noticed is if things are still usable and they are well built and have beauty, like these fountain pens, people will still buy them and use them. So $50, they're still viable. They were collectible then, they're collectible now. Watches are still a collectible thing. People do wear them. It's one of the few accessories a guy has. So there's the windmill letter opener. Somebody actually wrote me and said that they had this exact thing growing up. I wonder if they're bidding on it. $50 a bid on that, and it is marked as being sterling silver. 60. And fountain pens don't take up a whole lot of room either. You could have like a massive collection and it could fit inside of a drawer. $60 a bid on the windmill letter opener. Nice silver piece. And there's another one from Burke's, and Burke's is our equivalent of like a Tiffany's, or at least it was. Now we have Tiffany's here, so Tiffany's is our Tiffany's. $80 on the solid silver Burke's letter opener. $80 a bid on that. Last call. Oh, 90. I guess I let my screen sit too long. Went black for a second. $90 a bid. Will it get to $100? Let's find out. We got a few other pens. We got into some watches coming up here. Castner does all the shipping and the rest. Yeah, that is why. Is it Gigi or Gigi? Said maybe it's Gigi. That sounds right. Said that Castner does all the shipping and everything. Yeah, that is the nice thing about this. So if a person wins a whole bunch of items, they look at what you won, they put it all together in one box. So you're not paying individual shipping on 30 things 30 times. You're paying shipping once, if that makes sense. So yeah, it's really, really good. Yeah, the silver stuff sold for less than melt value. So yeah, good deal for somebody for sure. Vintage pen set, $20. Fountain pen set with the case. Yeah, so they basically just, yeah, I wish eBay had a way of combining shipping too, but they're not all coming from the same place. In this case, all of this is stored at the same location. So they just walk around, they find the item that you won, they put it in a box, they get a reduced rate. So it actually works out being much better. If you bought one thing, you may as well, and I'm not just saying this, I guess I am. If you bought one thing, you may as well buy some other stuff too, because if you're going to pay the same shipping. That's how I would look at it anyway. May as well buy a few things. It's got to get shipped to me anyhow. $30 a bit on that. We're getting into some of the watches, Eco Drives, and some of the watches that came out of the last little lot that I bought. A lot of people were asking about watches. Melissa is not monitoring the auction right now, so I don't think we have any of our usual folks on monitoring the live stream right now to drop the link in. I wish we could. It's kauctions.ca, and you just look for the Curiosity sale, which is live right now. You can still log in and bid. Still time. It's not done yet. Melissa is out having lunch with my sister-in-law. So they're off doing stuff, and I'm glad she's out doing things. She's got a busy day of Melissa stuff today. 30 jewel automatic calendar wristwatch. 30 jewel, that's a lot of jewels, more than you probably need. What are most Rolexes? 23 jewel? Somebody correct me on that. 30 jewels is just showing off. Some of them might not even be functioning. Like they might just have put extra jewels in there so they could say it was 30. Either way, it's an automatic wristwatch. It's a nice piece. 1960s style. Gold on gold, very Mad Men-ish, $100 a bit on that. What did the jewels do? That's a great question. Jewels are sort of like, they're the pivot point for, like, when a watch has gears in it. I'm gonna hold my hand up here. So imagine this is like, has a gear attached to it, and that's moving back and forth. What they do is they put rubies with little holes in it, and it pivots on the rubies so it doesn't wear. So it can move fluidly, and you don't have to worry about, if they put metal on metal, which they did on some watches, you get wear and tear and grinding, and it doesn't function properly. You can actually get little bits of metal in there. But when it's sitting against a jewel, the jewel stays strong and solid. Oh yeah. So he said Mont Blanc pen. Yeah, that's what I'm using as my thing right now. So the jewels, when you see on a watch, the more jewels, the less wear and tear you're going to have. This generally the better the watch. So there we go. Yeah, I kept a Mont Blanc pen for myself. I can't not have at least a good pen, but there is my better one that had the boxes going up at the auction here. It pivots on the jewels, yes. The jewels are like a bearing in a sense, and they're actual little rubies. If you ever look at open one up, it's a little red jewel. 1940s Goldfield Elgin automatic tank is kind of unusual actually on that. You don't see too many automatic tank wristwatches, but that's a neat piece. $80. It's got a little ways to go before it hits its actual value. I think if that were at a store, it'd probably be 350 or so, but it's going to go for what it goes for today. Ruby and sapphire. Just below diamond. Yep. Seiko 5 watch with the box, just needs a battery, and away you go. It still has the tags on it. $80 a bit on that. Lab-made rubies, synthetics. They were used in deco jewelry too. Yeah, now they make lab-made diamonds. Oddly, that's not oddly, it's brought the price of diamonds down a bit because you can, if you want a real diamond that's a carat, you're spending a lot of money, but if you get a lab-grown one, it's a fraction of the cost. So a lot of people are just opting for the lab-grown. And when you test a lab-grown diamond, it still tests as a diamond. Citizen Eco Drive watch in the box. I think that one still had the plastic on the strap as well, like it's brand new. Got a few watches going through right now. Oh, you want me to say Mont Blanc? Is that how you want me to say Mont Blanc? Yeah, it's a French name. I know. I feel like I'm just pretending when I say Mont Blanc. Mont Blanc. Or Mont Blanc. When did the auction start? It started at 11 a.m. I guess we're at the 2-hour mark right now. 1950s Wittenauer, good vintage 50s watch. And the price on that, $80. See, I only have 2 arms and I only wear 1 watch. What did I need all these watches for? Lab diamonds are diamonds, so yep. Did a number on resale natural diamonds, yeah. I mean, if you're going to buy an engagement ring and you're going, incidentally, engagement rings as diamonds that's a new concept within like the last 100 years. Diamonds weren't even the prominent stone that you'd use, and you just get whatever stone you thought they liked for an engagement ring. It didn't have to be a diamond. Diamonds for engagement rings became a thing as a marketing campaign that we all fell for around the world, from the diamond producers back in the 19-teens or 20s is when that started gaining prominence. Otherwise, you could have had an opal, you could have had sapphire, you could have had whatever the heck you want. But yeah, the prices come down on real diamonds because of lab-grown diamonds. But if you're going to go in and get a 1-carat diamond ring, you may as well spend way less and get one that looks way more impressive. And if they test it, it's going to come back as real. Somebody said their engagement ring was amethyst. Yep. That's right. You could get whatever stone you want. I actually like that better, because what if you prefer a different color of stone? You don't have to have diamond. You don't have to do anything society tells you to do. You could just do what you need to do. $325 on this watch. Won the Disney cars. Hi from Cleveland, Nancy and Amish. Oh, hey guys. I saw you, Cleveland. What were you doing didn't you come to New York? What were you guys doing in New York? Cleveland is not exactly close to New York, is it? I don't know. Antique mechanical stopwatch. That's kind of a cool piece. $15. Amethyst is a really pretty stone. I mean, it's fairly common, but it is a very pretty stone. I'm with you. I think amethyst is cool too. I used to have a small little chunk of purple amethyst on my shelf when I was a kid, and I thought that was the coolest thing ever. Yeah, emerald or ruby is nice. Yeah, and you're right. Yeah, it's just a marketing thing. Diamonds. $25 on the old stopwatch. I think that's a cool thing. I think that's what they were still using when I was in high school. Like, they were still using stopwatches like that at track and field meets. You guys remember them bringing those out? Like your coach or like your gym teacher would bring out like an old school stopwatch and be like, all right, kids, we're doing the hurdles today. Let's go, let's go, let's go. And they'd have that thing around their neck. And, all right, you're up. Citizen Eco Drive. They do have a battery in them. Otherwise, the watch is in good shape. $190. This is such a beautiful watch. Oh my gosh. This was one of the prettiest pocket watches in terms of dials I've probably ever had. $550 a bid on that. No wonder it's bid up that high. Beautiful piece of American watch. Beautiful American watch. 600. They always say Swiss for wrist and American for pocket. American pocket watches are more desirable actually than Swiss pocket watches. But this is just a gorgeous piece. It's a nice early 1800s watch. It's one of the first crown line watches. It's got that stunning enamel dial. Off it went, $600. Here's a Le Jour gold-plated mechanical pocket watch. $90 on that one. That would have been like a little set. You know, you got the chain, you get the clip. Whoever got that watch is going to love it. It's just such a gorgeous piece. The Walton. Le Jour is not a bad brand, actually, and I think that is a Swiss company. $100 a bid on that one. They made some beautiful timepiece wristwatches. If you ever look up like a Le Jour chronograph, they're great. Antique gold fill 100 case pocket watch. Can't see the brand name on that one. They didn't show all the nice fancy scroll work on the case. Jason says this is nice seeing live results. Yeah, because you can't really go back and see this after the fact unless you've logged in. So that's why I'm doing this big live stream today. We're just watching this together. Russian wristwatch with fighter jet motif. $70 a bit on that. And it's got the box even. $80 now. Some people collect these old Russian watches. I will say they're not the highest quality thing. They look cool though. They look neat. $80. Will it get up to 90? I think I even have a book at the sale about collecting Russian wristwatches. If you look through, if you're into that kind of stuff. 1920s gold fill wristwatch. This would have been like a lady style watch, a very early style wristwatch. Basically, it's like a tiny little pocket watch with a strap. $150 a bit on that. Oh, here's the Mont Blanc rollerball pen. $110. That is that's pretty low for that type of pen. But anyway, it'll go for what it goes for. I think I've said that a few times now. That's just me emotionally disconnecting from the thing and not being... You can't go to a store and get a pen like this for $100, that's for sure. But you can here. There's a really nice... oh, Jason says, thank you for showing us as I'm going through the same process of downsizing. Thank you so much. Yeah. Just it's nice to downsize a bit. I can't remember what I used to keep in this. I think I kept, my grandpa used to work for Imperial Oil and I used to keep his driving award badges in this box. But I thought, well, the box is taking up space and it's a really pretty thing. That inlay is fantastic on this thing. It's about the size of a cigar box. Abalone shell inlaid, probably ebony as well. You think the time somebody took having to lay all those little itsy bitsy pieces in there. $120. That is a true crafts piece. Yeah, put whatever you want in it. It's a neat thing. $120. And there it goes. These, I got all excited. I found these in a storage locker. And I was like, oh, I found gold bars. No, gold plated. Which I don't know why you'd get a gold plated replica like that one. But it's neat anyway. Crystal said, I'm using your example to motivate me to downsize. I don't know. You only need so much stuff. The way I look at it is if I haven't really looked at it or interacted with it for a while, it's probably time for it to go. And if I have stuff in shelves or in cupboards, I have hands-on experience with knowing how difficult it is to clear out somebody else's stuff. So when you think about the work it would take my kids or like your family to deal with your stuff, and if they don't know what it is or how to advertise it, or it's just, boy. Lucy says, kind of sad watching all of your toys. So well, I didn't sell all of them. I did keep some stuff back. Like I kept back the stuff that I've always thought was cool ever since I was a kid, like the Corgi, the James Bond cars in the boxes and stuff like that. All of that stuff I kept back. Oh, Mimsy, the gold was replica gold. It was gold plated. Yeah, no, if it was real gold, I wouldn't have put it through the auction like that. Antique gold fill 100 case Elgin pocket watch went for 130. There's the Fisher Space Shuttle pen with the box. Gold tone model of the Space Shuttle Columbia. Commemorate its success. I guess that might have been a little newer than 60s, because when was the Space Shuttle Columbia? Anyway, neat thing with its original box and paper is $60. The bid on that. Ooh, next up is an actual 2,000-year-old necklace, which probably you go to a museum and see it, and it's not the sort of thing you can normally buy. And yet at this sale, it's at 80 bucks, 90, 100. That is actually 2,000 years old, and it's jade, it's stone. Somebody 2,000 years ago had to go find the stones and shape them, and you know how hard it would be just to drill a hole through something at that time? It'd be like you'd have to sit there forever, twiddling back and forth, you know, trying to put a hole through something. That's why it's conical. It's cone shaped, the hole on either side, because they had to use something with the groove on both sides. You can see, I don't know if you can see that, but every hole is cone shaped, meaning that was very early tools that were used to make every bead. So somebody 2,000 years ago had to spend probably like, how long would that take? A month to make that necklace? To find the jade, to put holes through all that stuff and string it? My gosh, what a lot of work it was for somebody 2,000 years ago. When you think about all that history, I hope, I mean, I offered it to a museum here, and they're like, well, we're not really in Mexico, so we don't really need to have Mexican artifacts. I was like, oh, okay. 170, 180, 180, looking for 190. Where else are you going to find something like this? And that is out of the Stan Reynolds collection, who is a prominent figure, and the Reynolds Museum still exists as a transportation museum here. But back when he opened his museum in the 60s, he had everything. Civil War stuff and pistols and artifacts like this. He had every kind of thing that was cool at his museum. You know, he was one of those guys that was like, he owned a car dealership and he opened his own museum. If you ever been in like a small town and there's like a guy who has a museum, it was like a Quonset full of everything cool. Now it's a substantial museum that's owned by the government, but they don't deal in this type of stuff. It's a transportation museum strictly because that's what he focused on. Bought a lot of your coins from one of your earlier auctions. They're some of my son's favorites. That makes me really happy to hear when somebody got something from a sale and they're enjoying it. $250 the bid on a 2,000-year-old jade necklace. Well, that'll be a showpiece at your house. Congratulations on that. This is the Tiffany solid silver necklace with the pendant. Definitely not a cheap thing to get at Tiffany's. $150 the bid right now. What are these selling for at Tiffany's? Anybody know? Typically, museums don't buy things, so they just want to give you a tax receipt or something, and or they'll accept it for free. Vintage, but I paid money for it myself, so I did want to try and sell some of the stuff to get some of the money back. Vintage Canadian stamp set. We got the 60s kind of pendant with interchangeable little bits on it. 30 bucks on that, so you can have a different look. It doesn't have the chain, but silver necklace coming up with the blue stone. I have no idea what the blue stone is, to be honest with you. At the next lot that's coming up. Then we're getting into some of the antiques and stuff now. Henry says, our museum has no money. Yeah, they're kind of, a lot of museums operate at break even or even at a loss, unfortunately. No, not these stones. The next one I'm curious about. Somebody said they died. Yeah, these definitely died, but I'm talking about the lot 1297, the next one. Silver necklace with blue stone pendant, 140. What do you think that stone is? I'm gonna click on it. Any ideas what that is? It's really pretty. No clue what type of stone it is. I'm just gonna minimize this again so you get back to the other screen. 160 the bid on that. 170 now. Zircon? I don't know. Blue topaz? Aquamarine? I don't know. Could be any of those things, I guess. I mean, it would have to be some kind of semi-precious stone to be mounted on a nice silver filigreed mount like that. It's really pretty. See, I would think a person would rather have a nice blue topaz engagement ring than even a diamond or something. Jim says it's pretty. It is cool. 190. Just had that thing sitting on a shelf for like ever. Came out of some collection I bought, or I don't know where that came from, to be honest with you. $190. Ronald Norlander, if you're watching this live stream, thank you. You're a very active bidder. Appreciate that. There's an antique lifeguard core metal with the case. Neat thing to have if you're somebody who likes swimming or collect old medals. $10. The next one, there is a story with David Letterman's microphone here. He actually threw it directly to Melissa. So if you're bidding on this and you're watching this live stream, Melissa and I went to New York for a toy show when we owned our toy store like 15 years ago. David Letterman still was taping. I can't remember what the theater was, but we walked there. It was just off Broadway. And the guy was on the street. He's like, you guys want to be a part of the audience today? We're like, okay, cool. It was free. We got to go sit in the audience. They put us right in the front row. And David Letterman was swinging his microphone around and it hit the stage and put that dent in it. And they just chucked it to Melissa. And Melissa's like, what do I need this thing for? I kept it on my shelf forever as a memory of that. But then I had the what do I need this for in my thing too. 1800s gold frame tin type photograph. What a cool piece that is. That looks like a guy who had some stories. $45. Tin types are not easy to come across. It's a very early form of printing pictures. 1950s fountain pens in the box. Oh, Renee, well, that's nice of you to say. If that was true, that would be good. Looks like Rasputin. Can you imagine if it was Rasputin? Original Rasputin picture, bought at auction for $45, worth $40 billion. $30 on the fountain pen. We got some autographed cards coming up here. I had a bunch of these autographed Gordie Howe cards. They're larger than a regular card. Oh, it says, if you ever want to get Melissa rare jewelry, Jason Adams above in the chat has beautiful stuff on his channel. Oh, well, I didn't know. What's your channel name, Jason, if you put it up there? What's the most expensive item I've ever sold? Well, are you talking about property? Probably. When I sold my store, it's the most expensive thing I've ever sold in my life. Other than that, in terms of like objects, would have to be when we did the sale for Betty Jones stuff with all the jewelry. That was insane. Some autographed hockey cards going up here. Ron Hextall, Hall of Fame goalie, $15. It would be jewelry. Jewelry was the most expensive stuff I've ever sold. I can't pinpoint it to exact one, but 1981, nice early Mike Bossy card, autographed by him. $25. The next one, Paul Henderson autograph. He had the winning goal in the big Canada versus USSR game. He was the big winner of that game, and $30 on autograph card by him. Autographed on the left-hand side in pen with the fake or the printed autograph on the right on the card. But 1974, it's right around that time too. When was that series? The big Russia, is it 72? Anyway, $40 bid on that. Paul Coffey for the locals. Famous Oiler was on the Oilers when they won the series of Stanley. They just kept winning Stanley Cup back to back to back to back. And we got so close the last couple of years. Our Oilers got to second place both times, which must be very disappointing for our team. Panthers beat them both times. Last year got down to one game. Gordie Howe. You know it's a real Gordie Howe signature, by the way, if it's signed Gordon Howe. He never signed his cards Gordie Howe. He signed them Gordon Howe. And he did a promotional sign at Eaton's one year, and this lady's dad worked at Eaton's and had a whole bunch of these signed. And I bought them off her, so I ended up with a bunch of these. That's why you see like there's 10 of them all coming up in a row. Great player, Gordie Howe, one of the all-time best. And that's no money at all at $25 or $30 for this. So somebody is wise in buying these. And if I have sold these before, and they usually go for $100 to $200. It's probably because I put so many of them up. I didn't think you guys would be ready to talk about hockey yet. Oh, the pain is still felt, you know. And it's almost worse when you go to like a restaurant and they've still got all their Oilers stuff up everywhere, like, go Oilers, go. And you know that they just lost the day before, but they haven't taken their stuff down. It's like, can Can we just take, it's like, we need to hide our shame. But second place is still pretty good. I was actually thinking a team getting second place is not a bad thing for the city because you get all the revenue from all the extra fans and the hotels and stuff, but you don't get the crazy riots that sometimes happen if you do win the Stanley Cup. Some hockey fans go absolutely nuts. That happened in Vancouver. They had big giant hockey riots and troublemakers got out and were like lighting cars on fire and stuff. So sometimes second place is better for a city, in my opinion. Now, a lot of people would say, well, that's crazy. We want to win. And yes, I'm saying we do want to win, but I'm saying you get all the benefits of having all the extra revenue from all the extra games, but you don't have the craziness that happens. That's just my own thoughts. That might not be true at all, except it is. We got a few of these Gordie Howe cards going through. What are we coming up to here? I'm just going to see about maybe taking a lunch break. I'm looking to see what's coming up. We've got some coins coming up, basketball cards. What do I want to be back for? Do I want to be back for the coins? What's the next major substantial thing that's coming up at this sale? Oh, we've got some autographs on the way. Autograph pictures. I really do want to see what the typewriter and stuff goes for. I'm just thinking about taking a lunch break and then coming back to do a part 2 of this in a little while. Oh, I think I'll want to be back for this stuff. Oh, there's the book on Russian watches. That's coming up in a while. I think I'm going to rejoin the auction close to lot 1514. So probably about an hour or so. But guys, the auction is live and it's still happening right now. So I would recommend you take the next little bit of time here to go on and check out the sale. You can place some bids. I'm going to take a little bit of a break and I'm going to reconvene for a part 2 in just a little bit. But I'm going to refill the old tank. So guys, we'll see you guys in a little bit. I will be back in a couple hours time. I'm going to make sure there's an Abigail here and I've got to make sure she's fed and taken care of too. So guys, thanks for sticking with me for the last couple hours for this part of the sale. There will be part 2 coming up before we know it. So guys, we'll see y'all soon. And as always, check out the sale and buy for now. The buy for now part is because it is just for now. We'll see you in a little bit. See you guys, see you in a little while.